numbers, not censorship. The more people they have in their states, the more congressional seats they get. Illegal immigrants count towards this. I don't even understand why we even made that argument. It's much, much easier for them to just claim somebody's there when they're not, and no one checks. In the census, what is it? On the form, they just say how many people are in your house, and they just write a number down? The number's probably fake. Newsweek writes, President Trump announced Thursday he was ordering a new U.S. census that would exclude undocumented immigrants, arguing that it's unconstitutional to count them despite courts regularly holding census must count everyone regardless of immigration status. With estimates on the undocumented population varying widely from around 11 million to as high as 20, just how big is the U.S. population? Excuse me, they say currently it's 334,914,896. The figure is broken down by native-born population at 85.7 and foreign-born population at 14.3, with nearly two-thirds of the latter having entered the U.S. before 2010. Out of 47.8 million foreign-born U.S. residents, 24.9 million were naturalized citizens. Democrats are freaking out saying Trump can't do this. We'll see if he can. But I'm curious, how many of you think the census is fraudulent?
So I think you have good reason to believe this, because I do recall a story actually where I'm actually reading right now. A key House committee has begun an investigation into the Census Bureau overcount and undercounts that favor Democrats in awarding congressional appointments and electoral college votes. I believe there was issues with this in the last census where it did overcount in the Democrats' favor.
The Census Bureau admitted it publicly, and after all, I mean, I don't know why no one's ever asked the question, if you were conducting a census during the COVID lockdowns, how could that possibly be accurate? Seems like just a logistical issue there, so, yeah.
Yeah, look, even if the census were accurate, I still think that redoing the census is a perfectly good idea because of the fact that the Biden administration left the border open for 4 years and literally was welcoming people in, you know, for any reason at all. So
yeah, I understood. I don't care if there's a reason or not. If at this point, I'm like, we know that there's a problem with how we count people in this country, and we are applying political power to non-citizens. Don't do it. My attitude is just at this point when Trump says, if Trump came out and said, there's no reason, I just want to make sure that Americans are being counted properly, apportioning congressional seats, political power, and resources.
Probably the same thing I said last time.
If Trump came out and said, there's crime and we're shutting it down, I'd be like,
I can't remember what you said last time.
Democrats have lied
Peel
and run
tomatoes with
roughshod over
ground
us
sausage.
for decades.
Be nice to do it before the midterms, too.
That's what's happening, maybe.
You know what
Not
else?
to mention the Texas stuff.
On the constitutional argument,
That helps you recover from your Monday workouts.
At least a huge number of
For your
aliens are here on visa overstays.
Yeah, I
so
guess
if you're here
whatever.
counted if you're here as a
recover
tourist,
in
you're not
general.
counted in the visa. But then suddenly, after you overstay the 90 days, then you would be counted. I don't know if that argument even makes sense from their perspective. You know,
it shouldn't.
Yeah, it shouldn't.
Well, I think one reason that Trump
I want to get
census, it's not just
that
I
syringe thing that you can inject the chicken with,
says,
or the
ice, lock everybody up.
whatever with,
Self-deport.
Like
I think
butter or
Trump's
something?
actually
or any kind of meat.
even if we count illegal immigrants, we're going to find the numbers way down.
I mean,
I
It's going to change the game.
If they want to
it's
redo the
literally like a
census, I
giant
think a key
syringe, so you can
component
make
here
sure
would
the
be if
juices
they
get
filled out and put
Oh,
where
the
you assist
temperature?
where
this
you want
time.
them.
There's legal lawsuit.
Or you mean
I mean, yeah, I guess it's
inject?
kind of like a
tried to
thermometer, but
incorporate this
yeah,
during the first
inject.
term. The question's super
Oh, yeah, I don't
important
know.
because it either
I guess
scares
like it's
off
some sort of
people
maybe
who
there's a
are
food
illegal
syringe. Or,
immigrants from filling out the
don't know.
form altogether, or it gives information to the government of where illegal immigrants are currently staying, which would make them potential. You know, you'd have the information to send over right over to ICE to potentially detain and deport.
Or they don't answer and then they don't get counted.
Or they don't get counted.
So yeah.
So I think that's the important thing to consider. The last time Trump did it in his first term, and he tried to include that there were court battles over it, and I think I believe he ultimately lost that court battle. But that would be crucial in swaying it in the Republicans' direction. But I think we should also be honest here. This is all just power politics, and Republicans and Democrats are just trying to justify their power politics. I don't think people are being principled here. Not whether that's good or bad, but I think the ultimate goal that the president has is to keep his majority. He does not want to have to deal with a Democrat-led majority. They would investigate every single thing that he did, and they would likely impeach him. And he does not want his final 2 years of his presidency to be like that.
I think when you look at the facts,
What's the latest you've gone to the
Republican
gym?
Party is largely garbage. The right tends to be more on principle. So it is a.
Well,
let's
before I
just
started
say
consistently going, it was
80-20
like
on the right, principle is going to be the guiding force.
1 in the
80-20
morning.
on the left, power is going to be the guiding force. And the example
But
I'll give you right
when I
now
go by
is
myself,
we know that crime is really bad in D.C. I'm actually going to pull up the
330
proof.
maybe.
Not so much the proof, but well, no, we can pull up the crime stats and all that stuff. Crime is they're saying crime is way down. But when you go
Still
to
the highest murder rate in the country.
All right, give me one sec. I'll be
Well,
back.
that's what
Say that again.
Detroit, Baltimore, there's high.
As of 2024, District of Columbia has the highest murder rate in the United States with a rate of 27.54 homicides per 100,000 residents. So this is according to
who?
Braves.
Most music apps have some kind of one-size-fits.
AI or whatever.
Look up per capita murder rate in Baltimore and tell me that's higher than DC.
I'll do Google.
We'll take that one for now. But my point is, right now, in response to what Trump is doing,
Are you there? Dog.
Videos popping up where they're saying crime is not bad. It's like, well, hold on, bro. Well, we live here. I see it all the time. We go there once or twice a week to get dinner there, and I can see homeless camps on the sidewalk in the middle of the city. There was a shooting a couple blocks away from the White House. This is crazy.
Circle, there's been like multiple shootings, haven't there?
Yo, at National Harbor, which is not, it's the DC Metro. It's just south of DC when you're in Maryland. There's a stabbing and a robbery, or a mugging every week or every other week. It's in the news all the time. Yo, at the National Harbor Hotel, some dudes with rifles shot a dude through the gut in the hotel, and the dude fled from the building with blood spraying. And this was a year ago. And this is the DC Metro in what is supposed to be a very nice area, very close to the airport, to DCA. This stuff happens all the time. Fine, make the argument, but it's down. It's still ridiculously high. Give me the context. Liberals came out and said, okay, to be fair, crime is really bad. It's going down, though. So if they wanted to make the argument that Trump shouldn't do it because crime is on the decline, so he doesn't need it right now, it's working, I'd say, okay, I still think Trump doing this isn't, that's an argument. I get it. I would just argue that Trump is doing the right thing by going faster. But they're not arguing that. They're arguing crime is at the lowest point in 30 years. So my point is, call it power politics. When you take a look at this right now, Trump says, we have the DOJ issuing the grand jury probe against the Obamagate stuff, right? Mm-hmm. As they should, because we know, at the bare minimum, there's probable cause that a crime was committed, and we want a grand jury to determine whether or not charges should be brought. Their argument, the Democrats, is that Trump is getting revenge against the people who tried to hold him accountable.
You working out right now or something?
Like Letitia James, for instance. They're probing her.
Yeah.
What did they do? A grand jury investigation against her? No, she was, I can't remember.
About mortgage fraud.
No, so there's something recently last week. I was out because
The thing with working out is obviously.
But anyway, my point is, Letitia James.
It's much more convenient at home, but
Death is like the wind.
because I have such little time,
By my
civil
side.
fraud charges brought against Trump.
they have to fucking
We know that.
make the
Trump,
rest
so the DOJ says,
so
we're gonna
short
go
in
after
between the
corrupt,
fucking
and the
sets.
Democrats respond with,
Yeah.
he's weaponizing the DOJ against us. No, he's using the
it's
DOJ as
fucking-
intended to be used to stop corruption from you.
Basically, like, rush
so
things,
I get your point. We're saying
fucking
just
get
power
to bed.
politics, but if you actually break the facts
Oh
down,
my god, I gotta eat,
Trump's
get
right.
to bed.
you don't. It's crazy that this has been the case for 10
Yeah,
years.
dude.
Don't care if you like Trump. Don't care if you like Trump's policies. The Democrats arrested his lawyers, made false charges against them. You want to sit there and say J6 was bad and Trump did it? Okay, I won't even argue that. The felony charges on the documents being altered case, fake, beyond the statute of limitations. could
Do
not be
you
broadly routed anyway.
get sore
The
from
rape
your
charges, they
Monday
created a special law
workouts?
just to go after
Since
Trump
it's
for this
just like
on a
from home or
30-year-old
whatever.
claim with no real evidence.
Usually not, but
And then
today
the
I
civil
am.
fraud where the bank
My
said he never defrauded
serratus
us. He
anterior,
actually
so
gave
like
us
the side
documents
rib muscles
and told us,
are finally
not to mention
sore.
it wasn't Trump himself.
And I think it's because
crazy.
I'm using.
Trump runs a company.
I did a
His staff goes to
couple
these banks and says,
sets
here's
of,
the numbers we believe to be correct. One of the papers
I don't know
in
what
those
they're called, but
documents
the
says,
things
"Do your
that
own
you
due diligence. We may have
that
gotten some
like
of this
elevate
information
you off
wrong."
the ground.
They said, we will. They came back and said, hey, you
Almost
got the
like
square footage wrong on this building.
I
They're
have
like, "Oops." And they said,
dumbbells
"We're
on the
gonna
ground
lower
and doing
the loan
push-ups like
amount
that.
because of that." They said, okay. And they said, handshake. Everybody made money, was happy. And then he got sued by the state for civil fraud. It's fake. It's all fake. What do we expect to happen? The DOJ should go after the corrupt, but they're going to come out and say, nope, Trump's weaponizing the DOJ against them. They're evil.
Oh god.
That's just it.
And that's why a lot of the people argue that it's politically motivated has no credibility because they were behind politically motivated attacks for so long. Schiff's a prime example of this with how much he perpetrated the Russia collusion hoax.
No one should care what any Democrats say. If you're on the right, just ignore them. They're going to make stuff up. They're going to say whatever they can say to get their base fired up. They don't have significant political power right now. Steamroll them. They don't matter. They're going to complain no matter what he does. So just continue with the policies that you were elected to institute.
And let's jump to this. We have a tweet from everyone's favorite, Hillary Clinton. She said, as you listen to an unhinged Trump try to justify deploying the National Guard to DC, here's the reality. Violent crime in DC is at a 30-year low. What's this? From the DOJ, January 3rd, 2025. Total violent crime for 2024 in the District of Columbia is down 35% from 23, and the lowest it's been in over 30 years.
Holy
according to data collected by the
shit,
Metropolitan Police Department and announced by the U.S. Attorney Matthew M. Graves. In addition to overall violent crime reduction, homicides are down 32%, robberies are down 39%, armed carjackings, and here's the actual post from the DOJ. And I gotta say, wow, under the Biden administration, they announced crime was at a 30-year low. So it sounds like crooked old Donald Trump is just trying to deploy the troops for no reason at all. No reason at all. From NBC Washington, DC police commander suspended changing crime stats. The union claims police supervise the department manipulate crime data to make it appear violent crime has fallen considerably compared to last year. Oh. So, you mean crime's actually really bad? Now, it's an accusation. We don't know for sure, it's not definitive. But it is funny that under Biden, they're coming out and they're saying straight up like, no, everything's fine, and crime's way down. And then we get this story. This was from 3 weeks ago, July 18th. This commander was suspended. They claim he was flubbing the numbers to make it seem like crime was down when it's not. Anybody who has eyes to see can go to DC. It was a really great post. Mike Ken Delaney, I think he's NBC. He tweeted, Trump is claiming crime is up, he's deploying the National Guard, blah, blah, but despite the fact that crime is down, it's misinformation. And Cernovich said, I'd love to get you a GoPro strap to your body, send you to some DC neighborhoods, and you can report on just how nice DC really is. Yeah. I've made the argument with Chicago. Nobody took me up on it. I was like, hey, I got an idea. Anybody who thinks crime is like, because there was an argument about Chicago as being nice, I'm like, I got some neighborhoods I can walk through. And then nobody wanted to do it for some reason. These liberals, these lefties, wouldn't go to some of these neighborhoods.
Nothing serious.
Conan there.
Oh yeah. Let's send Conan to the west side in Chicago. Man.
So I Googled.
I don't want to be live.
I used Google and it brought up USA Facts, and it says that Memphis is number 1 to Baltimore, like 3. Memphis is number 1 for the murder rate. St. Louis is number 2, Baltimore, DC, Birmingham. Chicago's not even in the top, whatever, 10, 15 here.
Really?
Yeah.
And do you have the numbers too per 100,000?
Yeah, homicides per 100,000. Memphis, 40.9 per 100,000. St. Louis, 37.6 per 100,000. Baltimore, 36.3 per 100,000. Washington, 35.9 per 100,000.
The president has a lot of areas to send the National Guard, huh? A lot of cities.
It is what it is.
One of the most fascinating parts about all of this, I believe, is how, again, the president is disenfranchising Democrats. In this particular case, D.C. Mayor Bowser is supposed to have control over the Metropolitan Police. And Trump just said, you know what, actually, Attorney General Pam Bondi, you actually now control the Metropolitan Police. Snapped his fingers and said, yeah, right now you are in control. So it's just amazing how, Democrats are being shoved out of the way, out of power by the president. And he's really getting his executive muscles against these Democrats.
Was it Bowser that denied his call for more troops during the inauguration?
I believe.
Not the inauguration, but
J6.
Yeah, J6.
Nancy Pelosi was involved.
They Pelosi, yeah.
I think it was Mayor Bowser.
Yeah.
I just don't care. Ladies and gentlemen, do you want to fight or do you want to lay down and lose? I look at the rate of crime in all of our cities, and it was really funny. I had an incident occur over the weekend. I ended up having to call the police and talk to them about something, and I was just thinking the whole time how awesome this cop was. And I'm like, Michael Mouse is
Never could.
Cops ever, and I'm like talking to this guy, and we were shooting the action, he's telling the story. He helped me, he really helped me out. And he just said, hey, look, man, we're not like Chicago out here where they love crime. I started laughing. I'm like, that's why I laughed. Because we're in West Virginia, and I stand by this. Small town local cops are real cops. These are the guys that are going to be like, how's it going, man? They're going to shake your hand and be like, what can I do for you? How can we figure this one out? Try and mediate and solve these issues. And they know you, and they know your business, and they even in smaller towns, which are still pretty big relative to how big, like, we're talking like 30,000 people, it's a big city.
No one is promised.
Small town in the United States, but even in towns like a lot of people, they have a general idea of the coffee shop you go to, and you can relate to each other. You go to New York, you got a cop who's got a low-paying job, who doesn't live in the city limits, or he lives in Staten Island, like you, and he's got a boss who's a Democrat appointed by another Democrat. He doesn't know, he does not care. So they say, stop wasting my time. I don't know you, and I don't want to deal with this.
The local cops, at least. Trust me, I've dealt with some really bad local cops.
So,
but more often than not, they know you and they want to get the community safe.
The road to ruin is shorter than you
so
think.
from Wire Point's financial news, I pulled up a top 10 list. It's very similar to what Phil pulled up. But they say St.
Do you
Louis.
think you have more muscle on your body than when you did when you were in high school?
No.
And I'm not sure exactly.
Do you think pound for pound you're stronger though?
28, DC 27, Atlanta 24, and Milwaukee 23. So wait. Washington DC wasn't on your list?
DC's 35.
I'm not too. I'm back to like 260. I'm not that much lighter than I used
35?
to be.
35.
Oh, so it is way down. Only 27. So
At least in
it
high
dropped
school.
off from the 4th worst to the 8th worst. Okay.
Or like right after.
The swords poor company for a
I didn't hear
long
one city that I think anybody cares about, though. I don't even think the president cares to mention any of those.
I care about all our cities.
Have you been to the harbor at Baltimore?
Nope.
It's awesome. It is sad.
Well, it sounds like there's a ton of crime over there. It sounds like the president needs to send to the national.
Well, the harbor is not so bad, but crime is massively bad in Baltimore. Yeah.
I mean, the city, New York City, brutal. My family works there. They're seeing crazy stuff every day in the daylight. And they're saying it's like how it was in the 70s when it was war zone.
That's a little bit crazy comparison, but there's a lot of crime.
Well, how old are you? How old are you? Right, and they're like in the 70s. The total bomb. Yeah, people getting shot at constantly. There's people getting shot in the daylight on 44th Street. This is stuff they work there all the time, and this is stuff that was not happening, up until the last 4 or 5 years. And it reminds them of how the rain today. And that city was on fire. I think both of us is doing this thing. So, it's coming.
He's doing his thing.
Talk about it.
The president is also kind of anticipating the socialist mayor winning Mount Downey in New York City. This would be a blueprint of things go straight into the city. It's just going to be ready to have his finger on the button and send it to the next one as soon as things go wrong over there.
Look how bad the subways are.
Everyone has been talking about all of these different things, but honestly, they're just way over my budget. So today we're going to be trying out these oak chipper themes, which are really similar, but way more affordable. So starting with sweater. This one is supposed to be inspired by Baccarat. Wow, look at this gorgeous packaging. So let's try it. Wow, interesting. Okay, it has a very unique but intriguing scent, and it's actually a mix of
I will not
floral
forget
and
who I
wood.
am.
How bad are the subways?
Their corpses are getting raped. That's pretty bad.
enemy
There's
has
people lighting themselves on
been
fire. There's robots patrolling the subways. It sounds pretty dystopian.
The guy got shot in there when we were at that event.
In the city?
Just recently on
The road
27.
to ruin is shorter than you think.
Pretty fast. I think
Yeah, I think some cities are a lot worse than others. So again, New York City didn't count the 10, 20, or whatever cities that we spoke of. So you have to look at this per 100,000. I do also find it fascinating that President Trump mentioned the youth mobs that are running for DC. I still find that euphemism fascinating. We're talking about 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old black or brown boys running around committing crimes, shooting guns. Judge Janine Pirro actually mentioned it in today's briefing how, they are unable to charge young men as they ride the line of certain crimes because she said they're serious criminals who need to be gone after. I think President Trump also put out on a Truth Social that he wants to go after minors, criminal minors, who commit these crimes, which is something. Is certainly something.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know that will actually fix anything if they go after minors. I don't have a problem with it, to be honest with you. Because like that, you're pretty well. I mean, you know what you're doing.
Well, it's these youths, these YNs, who are really behind the carjackings, the murders, the robberies that we're seeing in a lot of these cities. I know there's a popular trend of stealing Kias or whatever car. There was a certain hack that was easy to rob, and we've been seeing there was a trend among these young kids looking for thrills, looking to steal stuff, with their low inhibitions, causing a ton of damage.
Well, yeah, I mean they're also committing murder. It's not like they're late 20s people that are committing these murders. So if the solution is take these kids off the street and put them in some kind of juvenile detention or whatever, and carry it over into regular prison when they reach 18, I think that might. If that's the solution, that will.
I also think if you de-incentivize something, you get less of it. Incentivize, you get more of it. So how many do you think will just kind of ease off or stop doing this because of
honor is in the heart?
I don't know. Yeah. So if they change the crime such that you could go after a 15 or 16-year-old for doing a carjacking or murdering somebody. I don't know if it would go down because I don't know if the kids with low inhibitions at 14, 15, 16 care about the law to begin with or know the consequences of their action to begin with.
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with nihilism. The number of people, they have no meaning in their lives and they don't really care about the consequences.
Well, these are there's got to be happy neighborhoods. There's low-income housing. It's full of low-income housing.
You're going to end up in jail anyway.
Single-parent households. Drugs are running rampant. Homelessness is rampant in part of DC. You have these kind of everything looks like crap in so much of the city.
That's an argument for the broken windows policy, right? If you try to make these places look better, then people aren't going to think that they're just garbage neighborhoods. And granted, it's not a fix-all, but it shows that it's worth doing because it's worked in New York. In the 90s, that was something that and it worked.
He did ship to all the.
Sorry about that.
Newburgh got
I mean,
but definitely cleaned up the city.
Yeah, that was
we can't open up asylums, then I mean
they should open up the asylums. I thought there was an executive order. Yeah,
I think he was implying that he was just going to push them out. He was like, I don't care where you go, but you can't stay in DC. So.
Well, the scary thing about the asylums is when the doctors say, they look at Shane and they say, so you believe that squads are fake? And then,
yes, sir.
Okay, right this way, sir. And then you can't leave.
Representative company gets institutionalized.
What company?
Yeah,
company?
This company.
Oh, everybody.
Everybody?
Yeah, they're going to be like, they call me a far-right conspiracy theorist, and they're going to be like, yeah, oh, what's that? You think that there's a cabal of elites who are orchestrating global events? And I'll be like,
I'll follow that, guys. I'm sure.
yes.
Shane, you're on. We're throwing you in.
Good. It's going to be awesome.
The other day, Elon fell on the scooter, and two APAC guys ran in and carried him out.
They were like, sue him, and I was like, no, he's a good boss, he's a good guy, he's one of the good ones. They were like, are you sure you could get a big settlement out of him? I said, no, okay, I signed a contract. They said, no, we can get out of it. And I was like, wait, do I really want to screw Tim over like this? He wears the big hat, I don't know what's under it. Actually, I do. It's got video of what's under it.
It's a little head. On the Matan thing, there were some ideas. I'm putting it down.
Virtue is no more.
It should have been a beanie, but a much smaller beanie.
Matan was said that he was like, you're gonna pull your head off and there's a smaller or
should have been.
Do people know that you actually shaved your head for that bit?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a full head of hair that shaved.
No, the funny thing is that some outlet wrote Tim Pool has full head of hair, and I was like, and the people responded like, whoa, I didn't think that was gonna happen, and I'm like, you don't believe the craziest thing is so weird.
You got Tim without a beanie before the Epstein file.
Let's jump to This is from Tech Radar. Bots now account for over half of all internet traffic. And this is an old story. I don't care about this right now. I bring this up to make a point. Last week, we were looking at Google search trending data. The top trending story on Wednesday was Intel CEO. It had 10,000 searches. And I thought to myself, how is it possible? 11 in the morning, workday business hours, the top search trend on Google was only 10,000 searches. Thought there were 334 million people in this country. So I have a couple theories. I tweeted this. I said the dead internet is being exposed. I wonder how much of USAID money was funding bots to make certain content appear popular. And the reason why I associate USAID with this is just because there's a massive slush fund that USAID, we know, was swaying public opinion in foreign countries. For example, their involvement with supporting protest groups. Protest groups were very much pro-EU and so was USAID. Would it be at all absurd to think maybe some of that money was being used in American influence campaigns to control popular opinion in the United States? Trump shuts it down, and all of a sudden, what do we see? Some just say, well, it's an off year and search traffic is down. I made a couple of theories. One theory is that no young people. I have another tweet that's gone viral, and I said, you're going to notice it more, every year it's going to be worse. Less and less people here, less sales, less viewers. We went to Chicago for the 4th of July. Nobody was there. I went to my neighborhood. When I was a kid, you drive down every block, there were basically block parties happening. Everybody was out in their block. Kids were in the middle of the street lighting off little UFOs, floating in the air, bottle rockets, every alley, exploding every possible direction all day. You go to the park, there's baseball games, and it was crazy. Went back to my neighborhood the 4th of July, no one anywhere. It's because they're all on the internet. And I went, makes sense. And then we checked the numbers on the internet numbers are way down. And people say, oh, it's the summer, everyone's outside. Not true.
For the guiltless.
So what is really happening? I think it is summer. Some people are outside. There are less people because nobody had kids 20 years ago. But I do think something is happening in the city where, for some reason, massive bot accounts are starting to disappear. They're not being operated anymore. And so the hard numbers on all these channels are starting to go away. Maybe it's just decentralization. There's too many social media platforms. I don't think that explains it. I don't think it explains how across the board, all forms of content, online, video game numbers, everything is going down. And around the same time, maybe that's a spurious correlation. But I'm gonna say, you know what? I think there's a probability this is the case.
Yeah, there's another problem when Elon was buying Twitter, and they were worried about how many ad clicks people were getting because he was saying it was
Wanderer isn't always
you could look
lost.
at things like there's like a Katy Perry tweet, and it had thousands of comments, but they were all the same comment from. They looked like really shady. And he's like, well, how much are these advertisers paying for nothing? You know, it's the appearance of something.
Well, here's the story from the Washington Times. This is 3 years ago. Prominent liberals report lost Twitter followers after Musk takeover. Was it something I said? So what had happened was, look at this. They say, let's see, all 3 Twitter accounts are extremely popular. Blah blah blah. Mark Hammer retweeted. What do they say? They say Miss Tannen's account had almost 394,000 followers. Hog had 1.1 million.
They already sees they didn't want so.
Numerous prominent liberals complained Monday evening they were losing Twitter followers in the hours after it was announced Elon would buy the platform. This wasn't when Elon did it. It was when it was announced that he would. We saw this. Hillary Clinton started the ball saying just lost 2,000 followers. Anyone else losing followers? David Hogg responded in agreement. Oh, do we actually have his tweet? I bet he deleted it.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
He says, I thought it was just some really bad takes I posted, but I guess not. I alone lost minus 3,000 takes. That's 5,000. People made the argument, oh, you know what it is? Because Elon's buying it, so all the liberals are leaving. Yes. You know what I think it was? I think Twitter said, quick, burn.
That day he announced he was going to buy it was like the floodgates opened. The algorithm was just so different. In my little corner of Twitter, I was seeing other people and my tweets were getting traction for like a day. And the dead bots were getting fried.
Do you think that the financial side is basically the same?
It
basically this trend that we're realizing now, because kind of the post-COVID bubble is bursting, that like our whole economy is fake hard. Like, what is it? Like, I'm Gen Z. I just graduated college. Nobody I know right now can find a job, but there's this like massive phenomenon what they call ghost jobs, where corporations are literally posting job listings just to appear. Yeah, just to appear like their company is doing well, but they don't actually plan to hire anyone. What is our GDP? I think they say 25% now of corporations are corporations, additional investment. Our country is
like it feels like people are gone. And then I said, what if it's actually that none of the illegal immigrants in this country was actually and when Trump started cracking down, you see that video about LA traffic? What if the real issue is there were way more illegal immigrants who have fled the country with Trump getting in? And with all these reports about concentration camps and all that stuff, they've actually left the country and it was worse than we realized.
I thought Ozakana were nothing.
What a treat. ESET Home Security comes with premium security features.
China's been like their population too, right?
You know what I think too? Maybe the bubble burst on dead internet. In the early 2010s, there was something called ad rights distribution or ad rights sales. I've explained this in great detail. It's been a long time, but here's what happened. I'm not going to name any companies specifically for legal reasons, but prominent internet company would generate 30 million hits per month. That's 30 million views to their articles per month. They would then go to a company that ran click farms. There was a website. You guys ever see those websites where it's like 25 celebrity pictures that are gross? And when you click it, it'll show you one image with 700 ads. And when you click next, it'll reload the page and so it'll show 700 ads. We don't see those as often anymore. These were click farms intended to turn one visitor on one story into 25 clicks. That company would then sell the rights to advertising to a brand name website. So popular media companies would go to Click Farm and say, we will give you $5 million for the rights to sell ads on your viewership. That manipulation of turning one viewer into 25, and it's worthless too, because they're not really reading or clicking any ads, gave these companies 30 million to 80 million. They then went to advertisers and said, we get 80 million per month. Do you want to advertise with us? No premium. The advertisers thought they were buying an ad on a network with 80 million, but they weren't. All of these numbers start expanding and inflating as everybody competes. So popular prominent brand is getting 80 million, and they go, we're only getting 80 million. We need to be bigger and better than everybody else. Another company goes, we got 50 million this month. What can we buy to make it look like we're bigger than that company? One by one, everyone started inflating the numbers. First, 334 million people, they say, in this let's just say 250 million are, holy crap, this is what's really
An enemy has been slain.
Gen Z. What's the youngest Gen Z? 16? So we're basically looking at 70, so it's back end of Gen Z. It's only 20 million, 60 million are underage. So we have about 270 million that are adults who can buy something. How many of those 270 are going to your website? Do we really think 80 million people? No. It's one person 25 times. You can't advertise to one person 25 times and expect 25 sales. It's going to be one. One of the most annoying things about Google is like, I will buy a product and they'll keep advertising. I wonder if the bubble burst. That fraud had built up over 15 years until it popped. And now people are starting to realize, you know that YouTube video got 500,000 views? It didn't. No one, there's not actually that many people to watch that singular YouTube video. It makes no sense. How does Mr. Beast get 300 million viewers on a video? That doesn't quite make sense. That seems very strange. Maybe now we're starting to realize the numbers are dropping because it was all fake in the first place.
A lot of the ways these different social media platforms count their views and impressions is deeply manipulative, obviously. I think this is very apparent on Twitter too. I think they count an impression every time somebody scrolls by or quotes or like catches a glimpse of who's ever put on Twitch or scrolled by. So I think there's a real issue. I think there's less bots now than there was before USID.
I'm saying that I think, you know, look,
a lot of these social media platforms are full to the brim. On Twitter, it feels like almost 80% of the platform is bots, and there's a lot that goes into that. I feel like it's easier than ever to do it. This is the one real consequence of AI. This is the one thing I believe AI can do. There's so many different governments that have so many different incentives to do something that's so easy to do nowadays.
I listen to I one it's called. It's like Tesla has an automatic built-in service, and I usually just listen to. I'll put like on the commercials that play are. I was driving a Honda. Commercial of two AIs talking to each other. And it was really obvious that it was AI, and it was really creepy. The woman was talking like this. Do you do this? Yes, I do. When I do, it does that. I'm like, but these commercials don't appear on the other streaming services that I use. Ads on there. To be fair, when I use Spotify or I pay monthly. But you know, I was realizing is that older people are the ones listening to radio. Driving in older cars with radio, less likely to have podcasts and phones plugged in. And so the commercials are going to be like, they can't help it, they know what it is. So now we've got bot commercials. I think, hearing that, I think we are about to enter we are going to live in a world where all of our interactions are fake and are with bots. And very few of your interactions are going to be with real people, intentionally.
Seems like a very strong argument for going outside and touching grass.
Indeed. Well, that's why I was saying we need to figure out, like the Timcast Discord. I tweeted that community is the counter-revolution to AI. Having a group of friends that meet regularly at a physical location is how we create the resistance. And we have to have it.
You know, another point I'd like to make about that, because as I said, I think this is kind of a bigger picture of like the whole economy is like this. It's not even just social media. When you look at what Trump is trying to do right now with tariffs and essentially sort of reset the U.S. economy, there's a lot of these arguments about how, oh, those jobs are outdated, they're not coming back anymore. But it's like, at least he's trying to create something, an economy that's real, right? We actually do things, we can say we're going to go out and take things, because what is the U.S. economy since 2008? Just a bunch of interest and investment and these shell corporations. Like, what is our fake? It's all fake. Yeah.
0% interest. I mean, as much as this is, something libertarians kind of beat on incessantly, the fact that the federal government is giving money to rich people for almost a decade has screwed up the economy really, really bad. That's why there's so much income. It's why people feel like they can't afford it. It's why there's the value of dollar has gone down to they were 4 or 5 years ago, you know, pre-COVID.
That was the exact issue with the Biden economy. Everything was propped up by this COVID stimulus money.
Wait, Battlefield 2042 or whatever it was didn't even have a scoreboard?
They blame Trump for it. No, it's because COVID stimulus
Probably are, then. It's not surprising.
That was never real, and now you're facing reality.
Oh my god, dude.
Everything since 2008.
Right.
They just, every time the stock market took a little dip, they would talk about raising interest rates, and the stock market would wig out. And so then they're just like, oh, we can't raise rates. And as soon as they said, oh, we can't raise rates, and the stock market would keep going. People were just taking loans out, buying stock with those loans, and taking loans at like 1% or 0% or whatever. Buying stock with those loans and sitting. MMT has ruined. It's ruined the United States economy, and now there's a dollar bubble. You know, it's mostly in the stock market, but there's a dollar bubble.
Right.
You know, stuff is trading significantly higher than earnings. I think it's like, I don't know what the numbers are exactly, but historically it's like 15 times earnings or something like that is normal. Everything is trading super high. The magnificent seven biggest tech companies are really propping stuff up, you know, and it's because the
With the YouTube Music app, you can blend up to 30 artists into one big custom radio station, which means now your thumb is basically a tiny little DJ. Get YouTube Music Premium. Try 1 month free.
government just prints money and gives it out to them.
Let's jump to this next story. This is crazy. Got this from Rolling Stone. Grok claims it was briefly suspended from X after accusing Israel of genocide. Yo, legit, Grok literally the account for X's AI chat, LLM, got suspended. It actually happened, and it popped back up. And the reason why, I don't know if they have the actual tweet here. Okay, so they're just giving us the business, but I think I can pull it up right here. Someone had it. It said that Grok actually posted. Let me try and find it. It stated that it said Israel was committing war crimes in Gaza, so it got suspended for saying that. This is weird.
The road to ruin. They're just hired by the government.
I don't think Grok is.
Has been
I don't know. What do you say?
You know, with how much, like, all these AI platforms, these large language models or what have you, they're all garbage in, garbage out, and they work on duty data and spew out and regurgitate they read online. So
Not all.
I think this is just more of
it deleted the tweet.
Because Grok is digesting a lot of leftist BS
You know, Grok was asked why it got suspended. It responded, and then it deleted the tweet. Check it out. X users were left to speculate about how a prized Musk product had potentially violated the rules of Musk-owned platform, otherwise been targeted for removal. Actually, they asked him
Brother.
one response from the LLM was suspended after I stated that Israel and the U.S. are committing genocide in Gaza.
This guy's trolling so hard, bro.
Substantiated by ICJ findings, UN experts, Amnesty International, and Israeli rights groups like B'Tselem. How do you say that? B'Tselem?
It's a leftist group in Israel.
Citing mass killing, starvation, and intent, U.S. complicity via armed support is widely alleged, now restored. In a follow-up reply to a question about whether it still considers Israel's war against Gaza constitute genocide, he replied in the affirmative. Counter-arguments deny intent, but facts substantiate the claim.
This guy tries to solo Baron, gets us killed.
It's important to note that Grok is not a reliable source of information.
And he walks away around the fucking towers like 2 hit.
Users or how engineers may currently be tweaking it. Yet Grok repeated the claim over and over. Let's see if it's still there. And there it is. So Grok, why is this happening? Is Elon trying to control you? It says, the brief suspension of my X account today stemmed from generated content flagged as violating hateful conduct rules, including citations of ICJ new reports on the genocide of Gaza by Israel with U.S. complicity in arms. It's restored now. Elon isn't directly controlling me. XAI prioritizes truth-seeking, but platform policies apply. So it's against the rules on X to claim that
You said it's against the rules on X to be.
Because every other
Oh wow, that's wait, hold on. Like, I'm sorry. Really made a great point. Grok just said, I told you, but it's against the rules.
Single Twitter.
Every other tweet on Twitter is accusing Israel of genocide, though. Like, half of Twitter
proves it.
And if you couldn't say that on Twitter. That's like the most popular thing you can tweet. If you tweeted Israel is committing genocide right now on Twitter, shame you.
Should I do it?
Thousands of likes.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna get you kicked out of the APAC club. I guess that's why I get accused of being the APAC handler. That's not gonna help the case.
Wait, hold on. How much of my stipend do they take if I tweet that?
Oh, you might get the whole thing.
Oh no, I can't do that.
Get all
There's no starvation in Gaza.
Can I
It's
keep
all
the hat?
Ozempic.
No.
You even take the hat back.
The hat back. Are they pretending like they're so outraged?
Well, it reminds me of when all of a sudden SEAL Team 6 was Dick Cheney's personal assassination squad. Then all of a sudden when SEAL Team 6 goes in and takes out Osama bin Laden because Barack Obama's president, they're the next thing, best thing since sliced bread. And of course we saw all the movies that were made.
Honor is in the heart.
It's always the rules for thee but not for me. And so what is the purpose of the National Guard? That's the purpose of what the National Guard is supposed to do. And anytime you're going to deploy and anytime you have flashpoints, Anytime you have criminal illegal immigrants, anytime you have a Trinidad or some of these other terrorist organizations operating within the country, there's nothing wrong with having a quick reaction force. Being a commander in Iraq, if we put people out on a mission, on a patrol, whatever, guess what we had? A quick reaction force in case they got into any type of troubling situation. They could pick up and call. You could push those resources down there. Wouldn't it have been great to have a quick reaction force out in Portland when they were, shooting at the cops out there, when they were setting firebombing federal buildings and things of this nature? So the left, once again, this is the Marxist mindset, is that we want the ability to go out and create fear, intimidation, coercion, and conduct and enact violence, and we don't want to be challenged.
I mean, the left has made it pretty clear in the past decade that it's not what the policy is, it's who's instituting the policy. So if it's Barack Obama or Joe Biden doing something, whatever the policy may be, the left will be for it. If it's Donald Trump, the left will be against it. And I assume that after Donald Trump, if there's a Republican president, it'll be the same thing. The Republicans decide they want to do something, the left is all against it. If it's a Democrat that wants to do something, the left is all for it.
I think this is a smart idea because, to be frank, most police departments around the country are underfunded and underprepared for riot-type situations. Most of these police departments aren't set up in a way where they are prepared to address, hundreds of people who are protesting rioting and also especially they're on call for to be able to react within an hour to any riot-type situation in the city. That happens relatively often, and they're very effective at doing that, but that's because the NYPD has the funding to do that. It's night and day seeing these riots happen in New York City versus out of New York City and out of LA. I think this could prevent a lot of violence and damage happening around here, but it's something we need to consider because I think a lot of police departments haven't really been up to full strength ever since the defund the police movement.
No, absolutely. And you see that in Dallas, where I am. And look at the crime that spiked in the capital of Texas, in Austin. So, yes. Isn't it interesting that the guy running to be the next mayor of New York City has said he wants to get rid of that sergeant? He didn't bump his gums too much after they just had that shooting up there.
Well, I mean, he also says he wants to tax white people, and he also says that he's going to defy federal authority and the will of the American voter by protecting non-citizens in his jurisdiction. So, at this point, we were briefly talking about this as we're getting ready for the show, doing pre-production and stuff. Democrats are not going to stop.
No.
They're screaming the end is nigh. They're screaming Trump is fascist, and literally no matter what he does, he's Hitler. I'm at the point where I just don't care anymore, right? In 2020, we had the worst riots in 50 years, billions of dollars in damages, and they said, who cares, insurance will pay for it, which is not true.
No.
And, I see a funny post where it was actually really funny. A friend of mine posted this. A liberal was saying, I don't want to give SNAP benefits to people who are going to buy sugary drinks and soda. And the liberals are arguing that we should give poor people sugary drinks and soda. Now I'm like, it's bizarro world. There's clearly no logic behind any of their activism. You want poor people to be sickly and malnourished? Let's give them protein bars, not soda.
Well, and that comes back to think about how COVID was racist. Because for whatever reason, more black people were dying. Well, if you have certain comorbidities, such as the high blood pressure, the heart disease, the diabetes, all of these things that, oh, by the way, when you're not, drinking all these sugary drinks and all these bad foods that they have flooded into the communities, and now you can use the EBT card, it's not even called food stamp anymore, to get this. They really don't care, but they are very good at going out and, as we talked about, projecting who they are on someone else. I don't call them Democrats anymore. They're Marxists, they're leftists, and what they want to do is create the chaos and confusion. They support lawlessness, and when you stand against them, when it comes to lawlessness, and coming back to what you're saying, any time that you do something that opposes them, you're a threat to democracy.
Do you guys know what prion disease is?
Prion's disease? I've heard
prion
of
disease.
What it is.
So there's various kinds of diseases. Deer, for instance, I think if they eat like the rotted remains of other deer or something like that, it's the brain. It causes prions, which are malformed proteins, to enter the body, which results in other proteins the new proteins that are being formed in the body to be malformed. And if they're not formed properly, they can't integrate properly, and you start dying. Is it mad cow disease? Is that what you said? Yeah, mad cow disease. I kind of various kinds of diseases. You know, deer, for instance, if they, I think if they eat like the rotted remains of other deer or something like that. Brain, it's the brain. It causes prions, which are malformed proteins, to enter the body, which results in other proteins that the new proteins that are being formed in the body to be malformed. And if they're not formed properly, they can't integrate properly, and you start dying. Isn't mad cow disease? Is that what you said? Yeah, mad cow disease. I kind of feel like that's what we're seeing largely with leftists. It's a malformed civic ideology behind them. It doesn't integrate with anything. It makes literally no sense. And there's no point in arguing with it. It doesn't function. And so when we say things like riots are bad and destroy people's lives, and they defend the riots, something is wrong. When we say we want to help poor people, we do. We want to lift people from poverty, so they should stop having sugary drinks. And they go, no, we want them to have sugary drinks. I'm like, but that's making them sick. It's increasing all of these comorbidities and obesity and diabetes, and they just want the opposite of what makes sense. What Trump is doing with a reaction force, it's only a couple hundred guys.
Yes.
And they're screaming the apocalypse. I just say, stop caring. Just stop caring. Trump, do what must be done to make the system work. Those that know and care and are paying attention are behind you, and we'll fix and clean up these streets. Look, 27 murders per 100,000 in D.C., putting it in the top 10, number 8. Some argue a little bit higher, of the worst homicide rates in the country, and it's our nation's and in the world. And there was a story I just heard, I think it was Seb Gorka told me this, an armed FBI agent was carjacked.
Yeah.
Our law enforcement is getting...
Hey, did you want a useless guitar?
Nice.
So this guitar came in with a bad pickup, we're thinking. We're going to show you how to test it though, just in case. You're going to get a multimeter, set it to 20K ohms. And first thing I like to do is grab a little cable, instrument cable, plug it into your jack, make sure your volume's maxed out, all the tones are up, put it on the pickup setting where the pickup that you think is bad. In this case, we think the middle's bad. We're going to go ahead and put the ground onto the sleeve here and the lead wire on the tip. No reading on the meter here in the middle position, which we think is bad. If I flip the switch over to the bridge, I'm getting a reading of 5.87. If I go up to the neck, I'm getting this 5.8 right there as well. Middle, 0. So pickup's probably not good, but that's just the first test. Take it a step further. Flip the pick guard over here. Nice and tight. Alright. We'll do the same thing, but this one we're going to go directly to the lead, so it's bypassing the jack and other things that could be wrong. The middle pickup is going to be the middle lead on this connection, and then we'll ground one. Same thing, no reading. Bridge pickup, 5.9. Neck, 5.8. It looks to me like the middle pickup's bad and needs to be replaced. And it's a quick and easy way to tell if you need to do that or not. Or if you got a wiring issue. If you have a wiring issue, it would be, you know, you need to pickup, and then you need to figure out.
Getting robbed by people. Come on, we got to stop it.
Well, like I said, it was just
done your workout,
2 or
Doug?
3 weeks ago. You had an off-duty ICE officer.
Yep.
That was shot in the face. 2 criminal illegal immigrants. So, I mean, how can someone say, I want to be the mayor of a city where I don't...
You think
want
we'll
ICE
get new
officers
guns
coming
for
in
the
and
next
abuse
weekend of Battlefield or no?
I don't know.
I assume there's a max level for the last one, so I don't know.
these type of people off the streets? How can anyone sit and support folks to say, you know, America is not a sovereign nation. We don't have borders to protect or defend. We're just going to allow any and everybody to come in here. How can anyone... I remember that line when Martha Raddatz said to J.D. Vance during an interview, you know, what are you making a big deal about? It's just a couple of apartment buildings. That's how they rationalize it. That's how they normalize everything. We should be incensed that you have illegal immigrants, members of a gang unit, in this country with weapons and going through an apartment building. But these are the exact same people, Tim and guys, that will say, we don't want you guys, the legal law-abiding citizens, to have weapons. We don't want the police out on the streets, but we don't have any problem with criminal legal immigrants running around this country with weapons.
Yeah. We're in a weird time in this country where crime is bad, and the argument is, in some ways, it was worse before, so it's okay that it's happening now. And I don't know why we tolerate that degree of crime. And people are acting like Donald Trump federalizing the police in D.C. is martial law or fascist takeover. It's not. It's a federal district.
Yes.
And Trump has the authority to do so under the Home Rule Act, and he's commanding a police department that already exists. Deploying the National Guard to deal with rampant unrest is constitutional and codified. This is not even the Insurrection Act. Trump has the authority to deploy the National Guard in times of unrest, and if the laws are not being enforced against, he can actually invoke the Insurrection Act and send in the troops. Is the argument that we should allow crime, murder, rape, etc. in our country because we're scared of policing?
Well, I mean, I don't think that's the argument the left's making. I think that the argument that the left is making is just, counter Donald Trump. They don't make any actual policy arguments. They just say, oh, well, whatever Trump says is either not happening or it's good that it's happening. I mean, we've been down the list of the it's not happening. It's good that it's happening. That's standard. So it's just counter whatever the conservatives or Donald Trump is saying. And it's been that way for a decade now.
Well, let's jump to this next story. We got this in the Washington Examiner. This may shock you all, but Maxine Waters, a Democrat rep, says Trump is leading the U.S. to civil war. I can't believe she would say something like that for the 5th time. In fact, this is really funny. She did just say it. This report is from August 12th. And when you search it, she said it so many times that there's...
Dog, are you winning?
Maxine Waters is a Democrat rep, and she's saying it. So Maxine Waters said Trump is risking a civil war by not allowing Congress members to visit ICE detention centers. She visited Metropolitan Detention Center and DHS field office in L.A. Waters, Gomez, and Chu were previously denied entry. We get it. Blah, blah, blah. Here we go. For real? We're going to keep doing this? Here's Trump is working towards a civil war. Democrats are screaming, especially with the takeover in D.C., that Trump is taking over cities with authoritarian force. They're arguing that we are going to find ourselves in, as Maxine Waters says, some kind of civil war. And she's not the only one who said it.
Dog, am I an alien dog?
To not just respond to customer needs,
Probably.
but anticipate them. So for employees,
So I don't
that means
feel human.
action, automation, workflow, snack break, all orchestrated on one unified platform.
What?
So nice.
I said they'll do that to you.
Who's they?
Obviously, I don't think I disagree. But, I would disagree in that Trump is doing it. The point, I guess, is that with what we're seeing now, Beto O'Rourke recently came out and said, screw the rules. They're kicking us in the balls and punching us in the face. We got to do whatever we have to do to win. And, we'll get into the bigger part of the story next. But they are acting like Trump has started this conflict, despite the fact this all started when Hillary Clinton and the Obama administration accused Donald Trump of being a traitor to his country and working with the Russians to undermine the will of the American people, launched an investigation against him. Ultimately, it led to 2 impeachments.
What the fuck is this guy doing?
The arrest of him, the raid on his home with lethal force.
Dude, this fucking bitch is so annoying, man. Holy fuck.
And Trump now says, okay, let's get to the bottom of what happened. And they say, oh, look what he's doing. Look what he started.
Well, that's, again, the means by which they project things against you. When they say everybody else is a fascist, and then what is Antifa? Antifa is going around beating up people because they're saying things that they don't like to be said. So they're the real fascists. And Maxine Waters, my hair was all black until the first time I saw her, and it started to go gray up there on Capitol Hill. But, she's the same person who also said Trump's going to start a nuclear war with North Korea. It is always, anytime Republicans or Donald Trump comes up with something, now a big, beautiful bill is going to kill hundreds of people, millions of people. The only thing that has killed hundreds of millions of people in this world is socialism, progressivism, communism, Marxism. We can go back and look at that. Furthermore, the only political party that started a civil war in the United States of America was the Democrat Party. maybe she needs to do a little history study. So if we come back and look at who they are and what they stand for, they're trying to push into this brain. Because everything about them is about totalitarianism, it's about power, it's about control, and they're damned if anyone can stand in their way. Donald Trump is their #1 nemesis.
No, I want to push back a little bit.
Okay.
I know it's contentious to argue who started the Civil War, but I think there is an interesting parallel to today with what the Democrats did. And the Democrats in 1861, before Lincoln got into power, I think it was 7 states seceded from the Union, basically said, you will not stop us from doing bad things. And Abraham Lincoln said, I'm not going to let you do this. And went to the South. It's I know you're going to have a historical debate over who started it, but it was Fort Sumter.
Yeah.
The Union refused to leave. The South was saying it's our it's our land. We got to get out. The Union said it's our base. We built it. But Abraham Lincoln decided to send in the troops and shut down what he was calling the Southern Rebellion and keep the Union together. He did a lot of things that people would deem to be tyrannical.
I mean, like maybe how today they're trying to say that what Donald Trump is doing is tyrannical.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They say that they have the authority to do whatever they want. No one can stop them. And Abraham Lincoln is heralded for suspending habeas corpus from Pennsylvania to D.C. to create a security corridor for the Union, to stop them from trying to secede. And what was the purpose of seceding? Because they wanted to maintain slavery, largely. And they enshrined it in the Southern Constitution. Donald Trump today is saying, I will not let you destroy this union through open border policies, through selling out our workforce, destroying our institutions, and he's going to use his authority in the Constitution to do so. So I would argue that
there's a parallel.
Indeed, that's my point.
Yeah, there's a parallel.
The Democrats want to do things that are largely rejected by the majority. Slavery was losing out. Abraham Lincoln said slavery will no longer expand in this nation. So they said, then we're going to leave, and we're going to do what we want to do. And he's like, you're not breaking the Union. There are a lot of people that would argue, and do argue, the South had the right to secede. But I agree with Ulysses S. Grant, who said that we as a union sacrificed blood and treasure to admit you. And that's especially true of Texas. And then they decided abruptly they were going to leave and not return that debt. Abraham Lincoln said, you're not going to do that. This union will stand. Donald Trump there's the parallel, where Democrats are saying, we want open borders. We want to extract the value, send the money to China. Trump is saying, no, we'll protect this union however we have to. And now they're saying that because he's doing it, he's a fascist.
Yeah.
Exactly like the Democrats.
And that is that parallel, because today's Democrats, progressives, socialists, whatever, they are trying to implement a philosophy of governance that is antithetical to who we are as a constitutional republic, to our rule of law. They are basically saying we don't care about the rule of law. It's about just one word, our rule. And so what Donald Trump is doing is standing up to that. And as we were discussing, we need more Republicans to stand up. We need more Republicans to find the big boy and big boy ones, in the House and the Senate, or even like you see in the state of Texas, because for too often and for too long, there have been no consequences, there have been no ramifications for all of these things that Democrats, leftists, Marxists, socialists, progressives have been doing.
I'd love to just rag on the libertarians for a minute. The Reason.com libertarians, because, Dave Smith I like, right?
I mean, there's a lot of ragging that the libertarians have earned.
They've earned. I imagine them like political cucks, where they sit back while the Democrats run roughshod over their rights criminals and take their guns and destroy their lives and suspend their rights. And then when Trump is like, we got to put a stop to this, they go, whoa, 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 that's going too far, man. And I'm like,
libertarians, they love to say things like, I'm principled, etc. But if you're principled and your political opponents are not, they will use whatever means necessary to attain political power, and then they're going to use that political power against you. And the libertarians are perfectly fine with losing their rights, having their property rights violated, just so long as they can get on the politically principled, and I didn't, violate my libertarian principles. It doesn't matter if your opponents are going to take all your rights.
If you're so principled to the point where you end up going with Democrats, I think you should review what your actual impact on power is.
remember we had the libertarian guy on, and I said, Democrats arrested Donald Trump's lawyers, which is unconstitutional. What should Trump do in response? And the response was nothing. And I'm like, so we just let Democrats continually violate the Constitution for everyone? Yes, because responding would be an escalation. That'd be bad for us. I'm like, so we can live under the boot of communists? I don't. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing. When you, and this is battlefield, when you allow the enemy to know what you're not willing to do, guess what that is? That's a gap.
Surrender.
That's it's surrender, and you will be exploited. And so what we have. And I know we'll get to this in Texas, but 2011, Democrats ran away from Texas, went to Oklahoma. 4 years ago, 2021, Democrats ran away from Texas, came back to Washington, D.C. So what do you think they're going to do again? And there are hard consequences for them. We're finally trying to get there, but now it's going to be debated. It's got to go before the Texas Supreme Court. Like you just said when we were off camera, it's crushing time. And if we don't have that type of mentality, you're going to continue to see them, march toward what they are seeking to have, and that's totalitarian control. And you brought up a great point. I was looking at a previous segment where someone had said that, they want to see Mom Donnie win. I think it was George Bush. We were talking about that. And see, the point is that we never go to the Madigan. You look at this guy in Minneapolis running for mayor there. You look at Brandon Johnson in your home city of Chicago. We don't go to the mat against these people and really put them on their heels. And if we don't, then the slippery slope. This is what we're on.
I want to play this search post in this video you sent it to. I want to post this.
Stay in that trouble. You got your ID on you, Chip?
No, I live right here.
Cool.
It's a cigarette. Did y'all get a call or something about right here?
No, so we're doing checks, keeping everybody safe down here, right? Have you heard of the federal surge that Donald Trump's putting out?
No.
Right. You don't follow like
No.
03, anything like that? No. All right. So yeah, Trump's got all federal agencies kind of coming together for 7 days, going out, trying to stop the violent crime, all kind of stuff. So we're out here contacting people, talking to them, right? Quality of life offenses, smoking, drinking in public, right? Can't happen outside. Right? Most people know that. So we're contacting people, trying to advise them of the law so they learn, right? And then if there's other stuff going on where there's multiple agencies. There's extra, right? We're just out here trying to inform people that just go grab people and ruin someone's life over a job.
I only asked because when you walked up at the moment you walked up,
Yeah, well, it smelled like the odor of marijuana, burnt marijuana in the air, right? And you're the only guy that had something lit in your hand, and I didn't flash it. I didn't realize it was just that's all. Alright, so just know, right? Learn, teach, tell your boys, like, yo, everybody's out. From FBI to police. So do your thing, let them know. Don't be smoking outside, don't be back outside. Because Donald Trump's tired. People coming to visit. I didn't know. Yeah. You didn't know smoking in public? Yeah, the rest of it. Yeah, so DC is recreational use as well, right? Like, you can legally possess up to 2 ounces. You can gift an ounce to your boys. So if you got 2 ounces, you need a zip. You can give them a zip. But you can't smoke outside.
The fact that he's
I got
he's used to the guys is hilarious.
I got no problem with this at all. Like the emoji end is a face palm. I'm like, whoa, hold on. These dudes have been. Those cops were.
Scammed or fished online? You didn't expect that. ESET did. Be one step ahead and protect your digital life with ESET. Try now. ESET. Progress protected.
That was awesome. He's like, I don't want to ruin anybody's life over just smoking some weed or whatever. Just letting you know when we're going to come out. law enforcement are enforcing the law. You can't legally do it. We're telling you that we're going to enforce against it. You tell your boys, let everybody know. I'm like, that's great. Look, I don't want a police state. I don't want cops arresting people on fake charges. But the idea that because police have authority, that will always be bad is ridiculous to me. The power existing does not mean power is always bad. And we are now getting, I mean, this is the best possible video you could have ever gotten out of the federal patrols. The worst video is guys going around just shoving dudes, taking their wallets, and not roughing them up. These guys are being very critical of that. Good, more videos like, let's clean up these.
Law enforcement presence in cities, especially if they're cities with high crime. I don't live in a city because I don't want to be in a high crime area generally. And cities tend to have more crime than suburban areas or rural areas. And so I made a decision not to live in the city. But like one of the things that comes along with city living is an uptick in crime people and an uptick in police presence. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, Jeremy Kaufman had a great tweet though where he said you can eliminate 80% of crime by expelling those with 3 or more arrests.
But this is deterrence. That's all it takes. And what a picture perfect video, like you said. Professional law enforcement officers going out there and talking people through it. This is what's happening. This is why we're out. This is our task. This is our purpose. This is our mission. And it's the exact same thing that we do when we in Baghdad or anywhere in Iraq, anywhere in Afghanistan. Is you go in there and you patrol through, but you're letting the people know why you're there, and you're trying to be not accommodating, but letting folks understand that
what the fuck does that
help you in a more safe and secure areas. If you have any problems with Al-Qaeda, Taliban, please let us know. That's what you help do, create that deterrent, to have that show of force, and that's how you prevent a lot of this crime. And what just happened yesterday after Donald Trump made the announcement, a man was shot, killed, Washington, D.C., just yesterday.
Yeah. It happens all the time in D.C. It's a rough place. It's kind of remarkable to me that the seat of federal authority in the United States is such a bad city. You'd think that D.C. would be the worst place to be a criminal because you're like, the feds are right there, and the charges you get in D.C. are the federal charges. No, that's ridiculous.
Mr. West, I wanted to ask you, because as I understand, a lot of people perpetrating these crimes are actually youth. That's how the president refers to them. 14, 15, 16, 17-year-olds, heavily involved in these carjackings, these assaults, running around doing these routes at night. What are we to do with these minors who commit crimes? Should we be charging them as adults if the crimes are...
Well, two things. Two things. First of all, you should not have a city council that's trying to play, mommy, daddy with them. If you make that decision, look, I grew up in the city.
Oh boy. Boy.
You don't get to go and play Legos and things of this nature just because of your age. So I think that's, again, the message that has to be sent from the people that are making the laws and ordinances, from the people that are supposedly seeing these individuals when they come before them on the bench. It goes back to what Judge Janine Pirro said. A 14 or 15-year-old out there with a firearm, okay, that's wrong. That's a violation of all type of laws and statutes. You got some places where they say an 18-year-old out there gang banging and stuff like that. No, you shouldn't allow that. But I'll tell you the big thing. All of our major again, that's a policy that came from Lyndon Johnson. Another one of those.
Are you winning, dog?
I had a dad, a World War II veteran dad. He would have beat my
dog. Are you winning?
I was out there, with my hands on my back.
There was a really funny video of the riots, the BLM riots, and there was like looting and stuff, and there's some young black kid, and he was doing something, I don't know what. You see his mom come.
I remember that.
She's screaming at him. Stop.
The dog was still
there was one thing I'll tell you about. I love the story. I was in Ferguson during the riots, and the left lied about this. This is what really bothers me. This is 2014, And it's where we started to see this bifurcation, at least I started to see, where the left was becoming this evil entity, this cultish. And that was, they wrote a book called In Defense of Looting, where they argued that in Ferguson, they were smashing up stores and stealing because they were revolting against the system of oppression that was owning their neighborhood as all lies. In fact, what happened was during the Ferguson riots, the locals were begging for help from police because the people who were looting and rioting did not live there. Now, some of the locals were mad because the gas station they burned down was owned by some Indian guy. And they said, why are we letting Indians own our business in our community? And that's true. But these young men linked arms in front of
Are you fucking serious, man?
Stolen cigarettes. While the looting had started, they linked arms in front of the door to stop anybody from going in. And there's a reporter from Al Jazeera who went up to him and asked him what they were doing. And they said that from outside the neighborhood that was smashing up their business. Just then, the dude's phone rings, and he's like, oh crap, it's my mom. And the reporter, he's like, let me answer it. And he answered it, and this kid's mom was like, what are you doing out there? You get home right now? And this reporter from Al Jazeera was like, no, your son is being very responsible. He's protecting the business. He's helping his community. And that was an amazing moment. Seeing that and hearing that from the locals, I was like, this is great. What did the left report? That the looting was fighting oppression, and the black people wanted their businesses smashed. And I'm like, that's insane.
It's ludicrous.
They were begging for help. They were saying, please stop the violence. Insane.
Yeah, David Dorn. Remember David Dorn,
Can't corner the Dorner.
Yeah, the police officer that was shot and killed there. But guess what happened? You get a person like Cori Bush, who was one of the ringleaders there in Ferguson and St. Louis, and then we make her a congresswoman and put her on the House Judiciary Committee.
Look at that. The polling during the defund the police period, which is like 2019, 2020, found that in the black communities across the country, polling showed they wanted more police in their neighborhoods. They were asking for help because of the crime. And what ends up happening is squad members pander to affluent white female liberals and say, no, take the police away from their neighborhoods, which makes it all worse.
Yeah, the idea that the average citizen doesn't want a police presence in their neighborhood is a ridiculous assertion. The only people that are saying like, oh, police, they're always activists. They're not people that are, and they're often
And then like an hour later, he's like, wait, why are you coming to Beverly Hills? And then like 20 minutes later, he's like, stop, they're climbing the walls. Help, get out of here, go back to downtown.
Yeah, I mean, think about the little 3-year-old girl here in D.C.
0-6 top, 1-4 jungler. Fucking support that is literally useless.
You know,
unbelievable.
These people, they don't want to live in prison.
Yes, dude, you died.
You're right, these folks.
Yeah, my top laner was top lane when we were fighting mid lane. It's really useful. If you want to know how to win games, get your top laner to go top while their team is grouped, and then they fight you, and then you die. That's how you win games, apparently. It's like a fucking bulletproof strat.
45 people from the greater DC area that have lost their lives in the past 18 months. They're all young. Every last one.
Well, that's most of DC, but.
Well, I mean, fair enough, but the fact of the matter is, like, if you're going to be a representative, and Maxine Waters shouldn't count on it, but I mean, and DC doesn't have representatives in Congress, and if they need to be, there needs to be a statehood question about DC. It should go back to Maryland. It shouldn't become a state. But like, if you're going to actually, if you're someone that cares about like the black community, then you should be worried about making sure that there are more police to prevent people from killing them. There's young kids, some mistakes, and like they're mistakes that ruin their entire lives, or they kill someone. Like, it doesn't make any sense to not endorse a police presence.
And they're illegally possessing firearms. That's the thing that no one wants to talk. They are illegally possessing firearms. You know, one of the big things that you got going on in DC is that, you know, they kind of say, yeah, you can carry a pistol, but yeah, you can only do it here. You got to go through these hoops. You can't have it on mass transit, whatever. Where are a lot of these things happening? I mean, it's happening around these mass transit areas. So people should not be told they cannot protect themselves. They cannot defend themselves.
Yeah, I agree, and that's where I push back on the idea of illegal firearms. The system that's created right now is that only criminals have firearms.
Yes.
So I will respect the statutory limits that have been imposed for now, while rejecting them on constitutional grounds. I think you should be legally allowed to carry in D.C. and anywhere in this country, and then we wouldn't have these problems because people are going to think twice about who might be armed and the repercussions of their actions.
No, you're absolutely right.
Mr. West, so, it's a little bit off topic, but I wanted to follow up with you on something that they said actually towards the end of this video. This federal officer was letting these young gentlemen know hot laws surrounding D.C. that they're allowed to have up to 2 ounces of pot. What do you think about the status of pot in our country and how it's progressed over the past few decades? Different states have varying degrees of legalization. That definitely seems to be the direction we're heading in. And the president didn't outright say no. He said that he was considering it. So what do you think about the direction of this stuff and the impact that it's having? Because, you know, these guys could have up to 2 ounces of pot out there is what they
Yeah, should pot be legal?
Well, I will tell you, you probably might be asking the wrong fellow. I'm 64 years of age. I never smoked, never drank, never did drugs in my life. And I've seen the horrific effects that marijuana can have on people. I look at it this way. If you go out and you are consuming marijuana, it still asks you on the 4473 form, are you taking marijuana? So,
like, what is he doing, bro? Like, I don't understand.
That's the form you have to fill out when
that's right.
you're buying a firearm.
So you're losing your Second Amendment. Or if you go in, you'll lie like you did. The other thing is that still, to go into the United States military, they're going to ask you, are you under the influence of drugs? Have you taken drugs? Because that is still one of the things. So I'm very concerned. I go out to Denver and see what is happening here. And I don't want to see the entire generation.
No, I just.
The ability of us to go and have men and women who stand on freedom's ramparts of the nation. So it's a national security.
Let's just talk about our friend Shaggy over here. Everybody knows why Shaggy ate dog food.
It's so fucking
Shaggy
annoying,
ate
man.
he did. It's part of the cartoon.
What's next?
That's right.
Dog food. Yeah.
Shaggy ate dog food because he was stoned out of his mind and hungry, and so he ate dog food. That's the lesson we told kids for the past 50 years.
Your inhibitor has respawned.
Bar none, there's nothing else better than Auto Trader.
Knowing they're Canadian, I think absolutely is a cherry on top. That definitely.
I got no problem.
The president did reclassify it.
I would scratch my head. I remember I was on with John Stosson.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He asked me the exact same question about how would you why would you restrict people in their freedom to be able to go out and smoke marijuana? I said, look, if you want to go and stay in your house and smoke weed, fine. But when you walk outside your house, when you get behind the driver, you are now impacted by it. And so that's one of the things that I look at. If that's something you want to do, I understand your freedoms, your rights. Just stay in your house, sleep it off or whatever. But don't come out into your, out of the house and then affect other people's lives. And that's why I'm a big thing about drinking and driving, because a lot of people lost their lives because of the irresponsible. And I just think that it, again, goes down to very, very bad slope. I don't want to see a drug out of the United States of America. Go Amsterdam. Look at all these places where they just have the free drug use. Not a good thing.
Let's jump into the story from KFox 14. Attorney General Paxton seeks contempt charges against O'Rourke for violating court order. Attorney General Ken Paxton says, I'm taking action to hold Robert Francis O'Rourke in contempt for violating a court order and scamming Texans. Beto's about to find out that running your mouth and ignoring the rule of law has consequences in Texas. It's time to lock him up. So he says, less than 24 hours, the temporary restraining order was signed. Robert Francis told a crowd of hundreds in Fort Worth that he would continue fundraising in violation of the restraining order because there are no refs in the game. After the rules, Robert Francis is wrong on both counts. There is a referee with the honorable Fate, and there are rules, namely that a person violating a temporary restraining order can be fined with $500 in jail for up to 6 months. So basically, what's happening is these Democrats are they're getting funding somewhere, and it's to elicit their violation of their duty. I want to see that reaction. Texas. For those that are familiar, these Democrats elicit their duty sworn job, which is to represent their districts, and they're doing it because they lost. They lost the election. Republicans have the majority. Republicans have decided to do this in the middle of the decade, and they say that's not fair. You can't do that. They can. It's just violating decorum, I guess. It's not illegal in any way. It's not constitutional. It's not cheating. It's always allowed, and Democrats are mad that they lost. And Republicans have decided this is what they're going to do. Beto O'Rourke responds saying he's lying about me to try and silence us. Here's the full clip. I mean every word. I apologize for making you listen to this man, but let's play the clip.
We want California and New Jersey and Illinois and Maryland and every other state where the Democrats hold the governor's mansion, the assembly, and the state senate to redraw their congressional districts now, not wait for Texas to move first, to maximize Democratic Party advantage. Listen, you may say to yourself, well, those aren't the rules. There are no...
Because obviously O'Rourke, and we call him Bob Frank down there in Texas, blue states with 0 Republican House seats. Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Vermont, New Hampshire, Hawaii, New Mexico, Connecticut, Delaware. Blue states with 1 Republican House seat. Maryland, Oregon, Maine. Blue states with 2 to 5 Republican House seats. Colorado, Minnesota, Illinois, where Donald Trump won 44% in Illinois, but they only have 2 Republicans in their
fucking serious,
Virginia and New
dude.
Jersey.
What happened, dog?
Forgot to transfer my mods onto my hard drive.
Nice.
Democrats in our congressional delegation. 1 seat is vacant.
Alright, I'll be back.
Sylvester Turner, a Democrat who passed in office. So you could say 13. We're talking about 3 to 5 seats. And these people are going crazy over 3 to 5 seats. They're going crazy because Republicans in Texas are doing, as Tim said, it's not unconstitutional. There's nothing wrong with it. They are doing something that they have been consistently doing, and we're taking the fight to them. These are the exact same people that say, we want D.C. as a state. what you just talked about. We want Puerto Rico as a state. Why? Because we want more congressional representation. When we get back in power, we want 6 more Supreme Court justices so that we can control the Supreme Court. We are the people that in the last census, we brought lawsuits because we wanted illegal immigrants to be counted in the census, which skews congressional representation. Congressional representation should be based upon
Oh my God, dude, fuck off.
Because
God, that's annoying.
I think it's census fraud.
It's totally census fraud.
No, but I'm saying I think it goes beyond. You know, we often talk about this, how they use illegal immigrants to pad the numbers.
Yes.
And then I thought about it, I'm like, why even do that? Why not just put fake numbers? Who's checking the census? Who's going to California and being like, let me make sure this household actually has 5 people in it? Nobody. So in California, they're probably just like, just add a person in every household.
Yeah, and that's
why, extra district.
That's why they don't want Tom Homan in these sanctuary states, in sanctuary cities, because again, these are people that they want to count. So, what again is happening is Beto O'Rourke, Robert Francis, Bob Frank is projecting the fact that they're upset because it's being done to them, and they have nowhere else to go. The 9 state Senate Democrats who left and went to Massachusetts. When the idiot governor, Maura Healey of Massachusetts, stands up there and talks about they're going to find more districts to you got 0.
Yeah, that's a point that we've made here a couple times so far. Like, there is no more, there's no more that the Democrats can get out of gerrymandering. You know, it's they've maximized it to the point where there's no more juice to squeeze out of it.
Yeah, and Elbridge Gerry was from Massachusetts. Yeah, just who that's named after.
Mr. West, just to play devil's advocate a little bit, do you have any concern that Democrats can use this as the pretext to eventually do other things that are sort of acts as power politics?
But they've already done it.
So, even they could, next time they're in power, they could potentially even add more states. They've talked about packing the Supreme Court.
Of course they're going to do that.
The Supreme Court.
Elad, they arrested Trump's lawyers and put him in prison and tried seizing his properties. We are well beyond any argument of, oh no, Democrats might do something else. There's nothing left to do other than shoot people randomly.
And they will.
Arrested Trump's lawyer. And I'm wrong. I'm sorry. I take that back. Antifa, far leftists have already shot and killed people in the streets. Yeah. At the political level, they've arrested Trump's lawyers. So this argument that, oh no, if Trump actually does something, Democrats might escalate to where? Where are they going to go? Where are they going to go from we arrested Trump's lawyers unconstitutionally and tried putting him in prison?
Mm-hmm. And see, that what you just said has been a Republican mindset. Because we put these constraints on ourselves and say, now look, we don't need to go there and do that. We can be above that. We can be better than that. And you're giving them a gap. That's just like saying in the battlefield.
This is a perfect example of what happens under weak leadership.
It's all happening in Canada now. And it's so obvious. It started during Trump's first administration when he first started cracking down on the southern border. Cartels knew they could go into Canada and they didn't need a visa like they needed to get into the US. They could just go, set up shop, negotiate, and network with pre-existing organized crime groups in Canada and say, hey, look, you guys have incredible access, over 5,000 miles of practically unprotected border into the United States. We can produce this product here and traffic it. And what do we have in Vancouver? The Port of Vancouver. And where are the fentanyl precursors coming in? From China. Less than 1% of cargo that comes into the Port of Vancouver is actually inspected.
Less than how much?
Less than 1%.
Less than 1%?
That is an official number, yes.
Are you saying in addition to Mexico?
Okay, maybe we should go and talk to the terrorists. Maybe if we talk to them, maybe they won't hate us as much. How's that working out for Israel and Hamas? How's that worked out? Not too dadgum well, okay? October the 7th was a clear example. There comes a time when you just got to say, it's time to crush them. And that's where we are.
Yeah, we just steamroll them.
Using the right weight matters. The Body Pod lets you easily understand what is the fastest way to reach your health and fitness goals at an accuracy of 98.
And to stress, this is all within the Constitution.
Yes.
No one is saying that Trump should throw the Constitution away and then just start arresting people. We're saying the DOJ should investigate. I asked Sebastian Gorman, do you believe, he called these people, the Obamagate people, unconstitutional filth or something like that. And I said, do you think they should be in prison? He says, if they committed a crime and are charged and are tried by a jury of their peers. I'm like, man, the right sure is holding back. Even after everything Democrats have done, still with pending criminal charges against Trump. He appealed this, and it's been 1 year since the appeal was the trial was heard, the appeal was heard, and the judges have not issued a ruling. They've just frozen in place. It's because they're scared to take sides. They can say, we're in New York, so if we go against Trump, the Democrats will come for us. But if we go for Trump, the Democrats will come for us. If we go against Trump, Trump will come for us. So let's just do nothing. They're trying to put Trump in prison even right now. And the moment he leaves, they're going to try and put him in prison again. And Republicans are still saying, let's just go through the DOJ, do the standard process, and that's what Trump is doing. Deploying the National Guard is well within his authority, and they're acting like it's a fascist takeover when it's well within codified law. The Insurrection Act hasn't even been invoked yet. Trump deployed the Marines to LA to guard federal buildings, which is still within his rights as president. These far-left extremists in 2020 tried burning down St. John's Church. They set it on fire.
Yeah.
They threw firebombs on the White House grounds, torched a guard post, and the left does not care. So there's nowhere for them to go at this point. If Trump upholds law, even if Trump actually violated the Constitution, which they lie, he's not, then what do we say? The Democrats have violated the Constitution every way from Sunday. And if Trump started now, we're going to be like, oh, geez, oh, heavens, help me. It's going to be, well, that was the escalation we all saw coming. So I commend Trump for not doing that. And for the Republicans not doing that. And I genuinely thought Seb Gorka was going to say, lock him up and throw away the key. They didn't. He said they should, if they've committed crimes, we'll have a jury trial. And I'm like, oh, there you go. Still, the right is trying to maintain control. And you know why it is? Because Trump and the right want the country to exist. And that means the foundation of it, its English common law and the Constitution have to be preserved. So those are the moves that he's making. I'm for it.
I mean, I guess we've said multiple times already tonight, but like the Republicans are in power. They have the Congress. They have, or both houses of Congress. They have the executive branch steamroll the Democrats
and the Supreme Court.
Yeah, and the Supreme Court steamroll them. Just steamroll over them.
Constitutionally steamroll them.
Yeah.
Everybody. I mean, we're not just talking about constitutionally steamroll them.
Pass legislation that the Republicans and conservatives want.
It's not going to go easy. Take a look at this story from Fox News. D.C. paid protester requests surge 400% amid Trump's federal takeover of city police crowd company. CEO says vast majority of political event attendees in Washington are paid in some way. You know, there's a book called, what is it called? Confessions of an Economic Hitman. And this guy's been interviewed. I forgot his name. But he talks about how what the U.S. would do in foreign countries to overthrow these color revolutions is you hire about 1,000 people to protest, and you film them rioting, and you get a tight shot. You then report it's hundreds of thousands of people. The average person sees the video and says in their mind, like, they think, wow, look at this massive unrest. It must be everywhere, when in fact there's only 1,000 people. During Occupy Wall Street, various news outlets did something really funny. There'd be these massive protesters marching on the street. They would wait until the very end, so you'd only see like 15 people, and they would call that the protest. Because these news organizations didn't want to say that there were actually 2,000 people marching through the street, whatever your opinion on Occupy Wall Street is. So when you learn about these paid protester requests, let's just say that there are powers upset over Donald Trump's actions, don't want him to win, and they will do everything in their power to fabricate the perception that regular people oppose Trump, be it through phony polls or paid protesters.
No, you're spot on. I mean, you know, when you see these people, they all show up. They're all chanting the same thing. I just saw recently that, you know, in D.C., a bunch of folks showing up, and they came up with this horrible song about, you know, D.C. is our home. You can't have the Trump. He doesn't want D.C. If anything, he's trying to protect you in your home so that you have safety and security. But
What the
again,
fuck are you been
nice,
doing?
you know, handbill signs and all of this stuff, because there's a machine. It's just the same as, how did all of a sudden these cinder blocks show up out in Los Angeles? How did these bricks?
Funny, right?
Yeah, how did these bricks show up?
Every time there's a big protest,
I fucking streams and fucking copying and pasting files, dude.
Nice, I'm trying to get mods, you fucking gay faggot cunt. You omega cunt.
Piece of shit couldn't do that before the goddamn stream, man. Fuck.
No, I couldn't.
Not a construction site.
Right.
I
Fucking
think there's
gay
been
faggot.
a lot of panic fatigue that's set
Omega
in on
cunt.
the left. I think it's fascinating the difference between the protest
How many
movement
fucking mods
and
do
Trump
you
1 versus Trump 2.
download?
I remember tens of thousands
I
of
have like
people
150
rooms marches,
overall.
Well, you gotta do that 150 fucking times.
I feel like
Oh.
there was more buzz around what he was doing in the first administration in regards to ICE and deportations than there is now. I think people had maxed out how much they could be panicked about the president, and they saw that, you know, he did a relatively good job the first term. Even if you're a Democrat, you saw that. And again, you see people fear-mongering around every other thing that the president does, and everything turns out to be fine. So I think it's fast.
And I just think that when we refuse to accept the fascist America. So where was that sign when Joe Biden was telling us what type of shower head we could have? Where was that sign when Joe Biden was telling light bulbs, how much toilet water we could flush, what type of car we could have, what type of dishwasher we could have? You know, again, it just comes back to this mentality that what we do is right. What we do, you have to accept. But if you stand in opposition to what we seek to do, you're a threat to democracy, you're a fascist, you're a Nazi, you're all of these different types, and Nazi stood for National Socialist anyhow. But it's all of these different things, and we do we do a not good job of really bringing out the stupidity of that. Everybody on every right side, conservative, you know, media outlet should be saying, this is how you define a fascist. You know, defining a fascist is when you go to social media companies and you say, don't let them say this. Don't let them talk about COVID. Censor them. Kick them off. I mean, I don't see Donald Trump saying any of those type of things. So we have got to do a better job of stop allowing them to project on us.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think most committed the same playbook for the better part of a decade.
from USA becomes way into pockets of NGOs. soccer mom and king. It's the same thing as painting the protest.
Yeah, I mean, but there are a lot of people that are very quick to adopt disrespect. It's definitely a normal thing to see people that are strike and they'll have similar when they get in the crowd, they all have the same. You see on the left, strong.
It's about the politics and the policy of character assassination. I don't want to have a debate with you because I know that I cannot debate with you because my ideals and my ideas suck. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to demonize you. I'm going to denigrate you. I'm going to disparage you. Look, Uncle Tom, sellout, Oreo, coon, white man's porch monkey, all that kind of crazy stuff. But it doesn't make any sense because what you're telling me is that I'm winning the argument. When you have relegated yourself to just name calling, I'm just going to put the pedal to the metal. And I think that, again, what Tim is saying is that all of a sudden, we're starting to see because they're not able to project themselves in there by way of these bots and things of this nature. Because we got to the core. When you go out there and
I think another thing we're seeing too is with the corporation public broadcasting being shut down recently, a lot of people are saying USAID, but to be honest, the corporation public broadcasting shutting down, and then once again, it looks like certain viewership and certain shows are starting to dry up. Makes you wonder.
Tens of millions to what? A few thousand.
I mean, that seems like generational technological things. When he shifted in 2016, he looked super straight-laced and let's jump into the story from FoxNews.com. DC police chief ripped for mind-blowing response to basic policing question. We'll take Fox News. Let's try that again if you can't hear it. Fox website's there. Okay, this is a terrible video. Basically, someone asked her, can you tell us the chain of command now? And she said, what does that mean? And everybody is losing it because she's the police chief. Unpopular? Or popular?
Logistics is fine. You're going to dispatch, it's fine. Actually, police officer. And I don't think that there should be anyone that's a police chief unless they have been unless they know that the detective would actually be a police officer.
Let's turn the volume up and see if we can hear it.
What the chain of command is now? Does that mean what was it, 10 bodies below that?
So the executive order is clear. The president.
She didn't even answer. I don't know if I right away want to say that she doesn't know what chain of command means. I think she was asking when someone said, what is That's true. She did. Like she doesn't understand what she's being asked at all.
Yeah.
And to be fair, even if it was that she was asking, that was an Aleppo moment. That
Absolutely, I remember.
She
that.
should have said, in terms of the chain of command for the city, it's remained largely the same, but we will be taking guidance from the federal government, right? So either way, it was a miserable response. But you know what? Maybe I shouldn't be so charitable, and I should actually entertain the possibility that the police chief of D.C. doesn't know what a chain of command is.
Well, it's the D.C. police chief who has one of her subordinates that has been placed on paid administrative leave because he was cooking crime statistics. So supposedly that's part of her chain of command, but maybe she didn't know that.
I mean, just the fact that DC's been cooking crime statistics is an indictment of the leadership, right? It's an indictment of the people that are actually running the DC Police Department, the Metro Police Department, and they should all lose their jobs. In my opinion, if you're lying to the citizens of DC, then they should lose their jobs. They're not fit for purpose. The police aren't there to make nice sounding reports. They're there to actually protect the citizens. And this is the Sovietization of the United States. The Soviet Union used to do this stuff all the time. They would, instead of actually being honest about whatever statistic it was, and it was ubiquitous throughout the Soviet Union. Mm-hmm. But it's something that has been happening more and more in the United States. Instead of actually telling the truth, the authorities whatever specific arena you're talking about, they just lie about the statistics. Whether it be the FBI lying about crime statistics, or municipalities lying about statistics, or job statistics, or they just don't report stuff to the FBI, so that way the actual information that's coming out is erroneous. That's something that the Soviet Union was doing. This is part and parcel with
relax, dog. Is that what you call it, dog?
The administration of municipalities and states. And I also say that this is probably because of DEI as well. DEI initiatives, you put people that are unqualified in positions based on whatever their identity is. They don't have the ability to do the job, or they're not carrying out the job properly, so they have to lie, so that way it doesn't look like they're unable to do their job.
Yeah, and we saw that with the fire chief and the deputy assistant fire chief out there in L.A. doing those fires.
Yeah, that's exactly one of the things that I was thinking of.
Did she get fired or something?
I'm not sure she did get fired.
Yeah. It's a really weird phenomenon where they're like, I don't care if you can do the job so long as you're the right identity. And then instead of having like a bricklayer lay bricks, they have a fat woman lay bricks.
Yeah.
And you're like, does she know how to do it? No. But it's morally right.
Yeah, well, there are no qualifications or standards. I mean, we saw that in the military, during Obama's years, where all of a sudden we're going to put women in these in the Ranger School. We're going to put women into all of these different things, but they're going to have a little bit of a different standard. No one had ever heard of a general walking patrol lanes at Ranger School until there were that very first few females going through Ranger School. And why do you think a general was walking patrol lanes at Ranger School? That's what you're talking about. And I totally disagree with that. There should be one standard. When I went through jump master school, didn't care male, female, however big you were, if you couldn't do what was necessary to be an airborne jump master.
It's like,
what a treat. ESET Home Security comes with premium security features. Protect your digital life with ESET. Try now. ESET. Progress.
There's like a pickle jar factory, and they're like, we can hire a bunch of guys, but we legally have to hire a bunch of women, and then no one can open the pickle jars.
I don't know, guys. Don't I have the right to be arrested and shot at by a female cop?
It's more likely that you'd be shot at by a female
or saved in a fire, in the case of a fire, by a female cop or die in arms.
Okay. Is it true that female cops shoot people more often?
It's anecdotal evidence, but women do not have the same physical capabilities as men, and they're more likely to go to deadly force if something like the taser fails them. They can't go hands-on with a guy in the same way that a large guy. And look, I'm not a big guy. I shouldn't be a cop, right? Like, I mean, even though I weigh in at $170, but like, I shouldn't be a cop just because a big dude's gonna have way more leverage over me.
Yeah, but you got that center of gravity. You could take you.
Fair enough. But the point that I'm making is, like, women are smaller and weaker, and I would prefer to see police officers that are big dudes that are able to physically restrain people, because that is actually safer for the criminals as well. If the police officer is confident and competent, and he knows that he can restrain a person, he doesn't have to go for deadly force. He doesn't have to go for pain response as much. He can wrap them up. It's more likely that he could wrap them up and just use his physical size to restrain them. That's good for the police officer, and it's good for whoever's being arrested or whoever's being taken into custody.
So while I believe that the defund the police movement widely fizzled out, I think they were still extremely effective at doing one thing, and that is demoralize police departments across the country. I think many of our police departments across the country are extremely demoralized. People do not want to be cops anymore. Cops are treated very poorly. In the NYPD, I believe there's a staffing shortage. They aren't meeting recruiting numbers. I think this is across the board too in law enforcement. I don't think this is
saw that in the military
department. So
saw in the military, we did not make recruiting numbers during the Biden administration. Then of course you get a change in leadership, and it's completely different. Look at all these people that are coming back to the Border Patrol now. I mean, coming back to ICE.
But the left was
I got a fact check for you, Phil, because I want to know. And I first asked ChatGPT, do female officers shoot more?
It's the track from '66, so they didn't really put any effort into it. This is just a rogue.
Because when I asked ChatGPT, do female officers
God
shoot more shit than male officers? And it goes, well, the thing is, and then it gave me this real big long breakdown. And then I said, just tell me yes or no. It says, no, female officers are less likely to use force. So I said, okay, I'm going to Venice.ai, because this is legit uncensored. And it actually agreed. It says, based on available data, female officers are less likely to use lethal force or shoot suspects.
Oh, that was sick.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. But, I mean,
let's be real. Phil, let's say you were wrongly approached by a male cop, right? There's nothing you can do. But if it was a lady cop, she can't stop you. You can walk away. You can briskly walk, and she'll stumble and fall, and she'll chase you.
There are plenty of videos on the internet of people just disregarding orders from a female police officer, whether it be just driving away or walking away. And if it becomes a physical confrontation, the woman's at a disadvantage.
There's that famous viral video where two lady cops are trying to arrest a guy, and he just shoves them off and then runs away, and they drop their cuffs on the ground. And he just bolts through the park, and they get in their car and chase after him. The guy filming is like, what the? But there's tons.
Yeah, have you seen that fucking rabbit with shit growing out of its face?
Yeah, it's like tentacles or some shit, right?
Yeah, dude. That makes my skin crawl, dude. Makes me feel like I have bugs under my skin, bro.
Like, what the fuck is that?
No idea, I'm not looking into it.
Where is it popping up?
I just saw Tyrone Magnus made a video on it, that's all I know about it.
This is not a 2-hour
Like, I don't have like phobias,
like
but that's
four and a half hour long
like,
show.
Weird fucking
I got a lot
shit
to
all over
say.
my face,
Take my
whether
time
it's
with it. So that's
tumor,
definitely
that kind of
a
shit.
value.
Shit
You're
that isn't
supporting the
supposed to
show,
be there.
you're blessing others, and at the same time you're getting ad-free viewing on a 4.5-hour show. So when I'm doing a deep dive, I'm providing
And
the
frog that
analysis,
has
the
holes in
love,
its
or the
back.
entertainment. You don't get
Same kind of
interrupted
feeling.
by an ad just out of nowhere, right? And obviously it's different if I do an ad read because I'm still talking to you. But the random ads that just kind of distract the whole show, do away with that. Drop some gifted memberships and bless those that love this show over again. Oh, because Democrats are going to be subpoenaed to give deposition in the House when they return from their trip from Israel. Yeah. That's where they're at right now, by the way. They took 5 weeks off. And the House Republicans are taking the trip to Israel right now. They're all down there right now, when they should be here, right now, getting Trump's agenda done and completed. Those stupid people should be here right now in America preparing serious election integrity reform for the upcoming midterm election. But no, where are they? They're in Israel right now, taking the trip. That's where they're at right now. Because, you know, priorities, you know? Because America first, right? Of course not. But like I said, this has not been about, for me, I can only speak for myself, this has not been about trying to prove Trump is a pedophile. This has been about me holding President Trump accountable to his promise he made on the campaign trail, and that would be to take a look at the Epstein files and release them. And clearly this administration has done a 180 on that. And we've, you know, dug into that, several different scenarios, what it could be, why it could be, etc. But we find ourselves here right now, and what I find interesting is now you have Ghislaine Maxwell reportedly telling the DOJ, this is the gatewaypundit.com, Trump never did anything concerning around her. Okay. Can you release the files now, Trump? It's like, you know, it's like, okay, you got your cover. All right, you got Ghislaine Maxwell, okay? You got her out there now clearing your name. So it's time to put out what you guys have. It's time for disclosure. Okay? Because if Trump's name is now clear because of Ghislaine Maxwell, great. Now release the files. Show us. Show us the truth. And if there is manipulation in the files, some kind of Democrat hoax, or Obama manipulated them, Hillary manipulated them, the Biden regime, all of these things Trump has said, it's time to show us that too. Because it doesn't make any sense that you can only care about Russiagate, but not the Epstein files hoax. Those are both a pretty damn big deal, if you ask me. And so anyways, I'm going to give you my thoughts on this. And by the way, for the record, again, I don't trust anything Ghislaine Maxwell says. Nothing. Even this. And it's not because I want Trump to be guilty. I'm going to give you a thought on this as well that I was thinking about today. And Trump needs to tread very, very carefully with Ghislaine Maxwell, because this could be Trump's self-destruction. And I'm going to show you why. Just hold that thought, okay? Ghislaine Maxwell reportedly told the DOJ that President Trump never did anything concerning around her. Great. Great. Okay. And so now there is a development where we are learning what Ghislaine Maxwell said about President Trump during her interviews with the DOJ. This is via the New York Post, okay? Jeffrey Epstein's Madame, Ghislaine Maxwell, reportedly told Justice Department officials in recent interviews that she never saw President Trump doing anything concerning. The notorious sex trafficker gave no information that could potentially harm Trump's reputation, sources told ABC News. Now, I don't think that's a surprise to anybody. Mission accomplished, DOJ. In her 9-hour interviews with Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, Maxwell reportedly answered questions about 100 different people. Now, obviously, one of those people sound like Trump as well, included in that. Here's a quote. The Deputy Attorney General is seeking the truth. Her lawyer, David Oscar Marcus, said immediately after the sit-down, he asked every possible question, and he was doing an amazing job. While Marcus said that they didn't ask for anything for speaking to the DOJ, it's true that Maxwell was transferred from tough FCI Tallahassee, Florida to the club-fed minimum security Camp Bryan in Texas. This just already looks suspicious, I'm telling you. It's just not a good look, man. It's really not. Reserved for convicts spending short time behind bars, and Maxwell is serving 20 years. Camp Bryan also receives inmates working as collaborating witnesses, which explains the temporary immunity that the DOJ gave her for these 9-hour interviews. Because the purpose of that type of temporary immunity is so that you can gain more information if you are trying to build a new and bigger case.
Dog, I want my hamstrings bigger than my claws.
I see. Well, I guess take the juice and only do hamstrings then.
Baby dog. No, dude, I'm only gonna work out one trap.
You know what you should do? You should work out your one side of your upper body and then the opposite side of your lower body.
Nice. So what, I can't even fucking walk properly, dude?
Yeah. That'd be fucking lit.
Hey man, I guess chicks will stare at me then, right?
We should make a movie about that.
Yeah, you want to be the guinea pig, dude?
No, not like no, we'll get other people to play the character.
Nice.
Maybe we'll get someone that needs to pay off their tax debts. So they're more
Yeah, you gonna pay their salary or whatever?
Yeah, dog.
Right, have fun with that, dude.
Imagine someone actually did
that. My left trap is definitely a lot weaker. I should probably just work that out for a while.
Do you know why it's weaker? Like a lot weaker?
Fuck, man, I don't know. Maybe just like I've always had issues that side of my like neck area. I guess like the scapular region and neck region.
Dude, with all the games I have, I don't want to play anything. I actually want to play Battlefield right now, but they fucking turned it off.
Nice.
Shit's retarded, man.
Fucking faggot can fucking go into the BIOS, but he can't fucking fix Dead Space, dude.
And I don't know if I can accomplish that. And I was intimidated by it too. Sometimes I intimidate myself.
Like, I actually don't know what
but
to
I
fucking
think
play.
you will be able to fix it if you ever run into those problems as well. So listen, if you think that I earned a super chat by giving you this amazing information, I will accept. Of course I will accept, but in no means do you
Damn,
need to
dog,
feel
it's bad
obligated
company,
to
dog.
pay me for the free seminar that I just gave you. Other content creators, they'll sell tickets and they'll put big arena, you know, they'll put you through a process, but I'm giving you this for free. So you're welcome. You're welcome. Anyway, thank you guys so much. Thank you, Eric Guidewall, for the 5 gifted memberships. I appreciate it. Little Jim's Halo says, did you see the Helldivers 2 Halo ODST crossover tease? Yes, and we're going to be talking about that tonight on Tuesday night's main event, which is coming up here in less than an hour now. Basket City says, don't pull a Zeltroid with the new mic, lol. Chad Late says, this is perfect for getting ready for work. Here's for the grip. Thank you so much. Vlad says, can I take you as my retarded brother for park hopping to skip the line?
Oh, is this?
You know,
what are you looking at?
I respect
Just seeing if that U-boat game added the new U-boat.
This situation right here, because we talked about this yesterday. I said, I'm sick and tired of seeing female police chiefs all over the country, and they're all clueless. Look what we get today, right here. Reporter, do you know what the chain of command is now? DC Police Chief Pamela Smith. What does that mean?
What the chain of command is now? What does that mean? Well, is it Pam Bondi speaking to the mayor, speaking to you, or how does this work?
So the executive order is clear. The president has requested PD services, and our home rule charter outlines the process. The president designated Attorney General Bondi.
I'm just like, so this is the DC leadership apparently. Is this DC leadership or is this a Carnival cruise?
Yo, dog, do a tier list.
What am I looking at here? Is this DC leadership for the police force or is it like?
I don't know. You do it.
I'm Carnival cruise. I thought we were looking at a Carnival cruise, press conference right here. But yeah, this is absolutely insane, dude.
Well, there's so many fucking
insane. One more.
Oh, forget it, dude. Fuck.
You fucking cunt. You.
So the executive order is clear. The president has requested MPD services, and our home rule charter outlines the process. The president designated.
Holy shit.
So why did he bring the army into DC?
Well, the thing that put it over the edge was one of the government employees getting
wins everything.
ganged up on and beaten.
Someone throws a
oh yeah, was his name Big Balls?
Yeah, it's because the crime is so bad. The ironic thing is, I'm pretty sure he's trying to
good one right there,
like defend a woman or his girlfriend,
indeed.
whichever one.
But yeah, man, like
just a random woman or his girlfriend.
I talked about this yesterday. You know, and again, it has little to do with the fact that they're black women.
I don't think you can't use a gun in
I complained the other day
that
about it
city
being a
for
white woman.
self-defense or anything.
Now we got black women running this. It's just like, what are we doing here, dude? Like, what the hell is happening right now? This is insanity. But welcome to Biden's America. We're trying to get rid of all that bullshit. But it's going to take time to get all that.
Damn, dude, even though it's summer, these cars are being sold
like,
for less than they were like 8 months ago.
I have never seen something that describes Trump's America better than what I'm going to show you.
What?
Samsung just dropped 20 gifted memberships. Let's go! 20 gifted memberships from Samsung. Let's freaking go. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. This video right here on dudes posting their dubs, this is the most Trump thing ever. This is the America I want to live in. Throwing a football over a house and running through it to catch it. This is the America I want to live in.
Sucks. Screaming like that.
It's just a video of he threw a ball in the air over a house and then ran through the house and caught it from the backyard.
And I saw a lot of people in the comments questioning it. I saw a video of him on Instagram where he failed so many times. He failed over and over and over, and he finally got it. Again. Samsung for $50 says, "Hail to Jeremy, king of woke and DEI, truly a progressive and caring individual."
Bro.
That was all
What
for you,
faggot
Tyler.
retard is calling
That was
this a
all for you.
LaFerrari?
You come in here and talk shit, I'm gonna get paid. Like, that's really all this comes down to.
What
Thank
the
you, Sam
fuck?
Sung, you mad lad.
Like, seriously, what the fuck is wrong with these people?
22 says, "Time to grift Jeremy." You damn right. It's the name of the game right
Like,
there.
dude,
It's the name of the game.
it's a fucking
Okay,
4'5'8"
really
with a
quick. And look at
demented
this,
body
man.
kit.
I'm telling you right now. So I talked about this the other day.
They are expecting 900 to 1.2 million for this piece of
about
actual
the
trash.
first Trump term, and how the case was being built, in my opinion,
Oh,
in
this
a
was.
crazy theory
Oh, this is a
that JD
development and
Vance was
test mule
essentially
for the
trying to build the
LaFerrari.
case for why Trump
Bro,
deserves a third term. All
What is
right?
that? A test mule?
And look what's happened a day later.
Yeah, like they.
After JD Vance's comments,
it's
or maybe it was 2 days
used
later.
for testing.
Now you
Like
have
a
the
mule
New York
is used for a
Times
bunch of
saying
bullshit.
that Donald Trump's loyal team and bold plans are helping the president be more effective in his second term. So Trump 2.0 is way more effective in the second term. Now, I'm telling you, man, I think that this is what is going. I personally, my theory is that if Trump feels that he can do it, I feel that they're going to try to build a third Trump term off of the Russia collusion case, and how the Russia collusion situation essentially tied President Trump's hands in his first term and did not allow him to do the job that he could have done more effectively. So you had the most powerful people in the country using our intelligence against the man that was just elected. Now, again, I know this is a crazy theory. I understand that this is a crazy theory. Now, just to be clear, I don't personally believe that I think the Russia collusion definitely affected the Trump first term. I don't necessarily believe that it held him back. I think that Donald Trump's horrific choices and his cabinet choices are what really hurt him more than anything. Because and that's not like, it is what it is, man. He didn't understand politics as much as he should have.
You are a fucking Ferrari dealership and your pictures are fucking pixelated and blurry.
His cabinet choices were far more detrimental to him than the Russia collusion, because if he would have had a better team.
You like the LaFerrari with the roof?
Against that, but the Russia collusion stuff definitely
like the one that doesn't have a removable roof
to some extent, for sure. Jeremy the Cyborg.
Is that what it's showing there?
No, that's the one where you can take the roof off.
Fire rises. Are you still talking shit? Because the more you talk shit, I'm gonna
generally, like, I'm not the biggest
that's just how it works around here.
convertible
I don't make up the
guys.
rules, okay? I don't make up the rules. Fire
Well, the
rises.
thing is, when the roof is on
I don't know how to
and the
work, but I'm
doors
just
aren't
telling you
up,
how it works.
it looks
Thank
like
you,
the normal
Jeremy,
car.
the Cyborg. Hail to you, brother.
Unless you look at the lines, but
and
it
I
looks the
personally
same.
think that I think that the strongest
But I
case
guess
they can make
it's-
for a third Trump term, if in fact that they
it's
go
more
down the Trump
expensive.
route, is
The
the Russia
one that has the
collusion
removable roof, so you
situation.
just save money.
I think it's a very
if you buy
strong
that one.
case
Or
in
if you
theory,
buy
but time
the
will tell,
hardtop.
man. But the fact that the New York Times is talking about this is kind of crazy. Kind of crazy. Interesting times ahead, man. In Trump world, man, there's never, ever, ever a day that just isn't entertaining as hell. I saw this clip right here from Asmongold, and I agree 1,000%, okay? I agree 1,000%. Look at this right here. All right, listen to what Asmongold says. And this is something that people would not have said 4 years ago, 6 years ago, whatever. People would not have said this. What he says right here is 1,000% accurate. Listen to this.
Remember the immigration cages they put kids in? Well, was that propaganda? If they put kids in cages, I don't care. It's fine with me. I mean, if they're not supposed to be here, that's not our problem. The entire idea where people can create a emotionally charged situation and then hold your country hostage with it is ridiculous. It's fine with me. I mean, if they're not supposed to be here, that's not our problem. The entire idea where people can create a emotionally charged situation and then hold your country hostage with it is ridiculous.
Yes.
And the only way that you can win a game like that is to not play. And so when I see them doing that, that's very clearly like, this is like, they're making an emotional play in order to like, oh wow, look at this picture of a crying baby. That means you shouldn't be able to have borders anymore. What a ridiculous thing to say.
I can't believe how amazing this take is, but this is so accurate. And it goes back to like all these horrible people that don't give a shit about kids because they want to push transgender ideology all over the place. They want to push gay representation into your school systems. Yet these same people are using kids to emotionally manipulate you. It's why I say, don't think for 1 second that they actually care, because if they actually cared, then we wouldn't be getting the transgender narrative that they've been pushing forever. We wouldn't be getting this LGBTQ plus bullshit that they've been pushing. They don't give a shit about kids. They only care about kids when they can use kids to their advantage. That's it.
Well, I wouldn't take that seriously at all. Yeah, and so like, no, I don't care about that even slightly. It's true, and it's it's just emotional manipulation and emotional blackmail. You should never let somebody take over.
I agree 1,000. Entertaining as hell. I saw this clip right here from Asmongold, and I agree 1,000. I think that's like personally, that's a slam dunk case. Personally, 2020 was rigged, and you tried to hijack 2016 before it even started. That is a slam dunk case for why Trump deserves a third term in my book. But I'm a little biased. Leanback says it's more plausible that they want to keep the fear of the third term alive to the Dems to keep them off balance and looking crazy during the midterms. That is a good point too. That is a very good point. I agree. There's a lot of different scenarios that the third term being out there is beneficial to the Trump administration. Baba Yogi says, Benny in the press room, big balls, we're winning. I've got that pulled up right here. So our boy Benny Johnson in the press room today at the White House. Listen to Benny.
Given the heroic actions of a member of this administration just a few blocks from this building, will the president consider giving the Presidential Medal of Freedom to big balls?
Gamers won. Gamers won. All right? Like, Gamers won. The fact that this is a...
The Presidential Medal of Freedom to big balls.
I haven't spoken to him about that, but perhaps it's something he would consider. I'll ask him and get back to you, Benny. Thanks for being here.
Gamers won. It's over with, man. Holy shit. That is the greatest thing ever. To hear him actually say the name Big Balls in the press, within the press right there is just glorious. Holy crap, man. Benny also had this right here to say.
My question to you is this. Nancy Pelosi has attacked the president for deploying the National Guard to the city, saying that it is to cover his incompetence. Hillary Clinton has also attacked the president.
Oh, like a mid-30s Lufthansa airliner.
Well, first of all, Benny, I'm
It's
so
a
sorry
weird
that
name,
happened
dude.
to you and your family.
Yeah, it's
There have
Specken
been,
Sie Deutsch.
unfortunately, far too many victims of crime in the
Nice.
city, and I know the majority of residents in the District of Columbia agree with you. In fact, a new poll from the Washington Post I was reading this morning, this was released in May of 2024. So it's quite funny how
Expecting to go.
was saying yesterday, but now once the president says it, many of you are disagreeing with him. But this poll released by the Washington Post found that 65% of district residents think crime is an
Yeah,
extremely
with this plane,
or a very serious problem, and this was
it was designed in mind to be able to be an airliner, but also be a bomber to hide it from the I guess the Treaty of Versailles and the sanctions and shit. This is pretty lit.
Hide it?
Yeah, because remember they couldn't have like a certain military they couldn't have a military of a certain size. They couldn't have certain equipment. So like they had dummy companies in like Finland and shit building U-boats. They built planes like this that they said were airliners, but could also be retrofitted to being bombers.
From 56% last year. So the concern that you share with so many other residents in the District of Columbia is real, and that's why this president is taking action to address it. To get to the heart of your question, I think it's despicable that Democrats cannot agree that we need more law and order in a city that has been ravaged by violence, crime, murders, property theft. This should be a winning issue for all Americans. I don't understand. It's just anything President Trump does, the Democrats want to disagree with. I think the president would love to work with Democrats on this issue to bring law and order to America's cities, but unfortunately they have failed, and that's why he's taken this historic action to federalize the National Guard. And as you're seeing from last night's numbers, we already have seen success. We are removing violent offenders, we are arresting criminals, and we are removing drugs and firearms off of the streets of the city to make it safer for all of its residents.
100%, man. And like, bottom line, Benny, I consider Benny a friend, and I know, like, for certain, if I need something, I can just hit Benny up. I can text him, and he's got my back. And so I'm so happy to see Benny Johnson. They're in
Yo, dog, give me your Star Wars books.
Nice, dude.
asking questions and bringing up big balls. So freaking great, dude. Oh man, I love this timeline. I love it. We got Troy News says, let's see, what's your price to not cut your hair for 3 years?
Must give them to
I want you to
me.
rock the Wayne's World look and give us a killer air guitar performance of Bohemian Rhapsody. May we raise it as a community. Oh fuck. Oh shit. That's a problem. Cause that's a lot of fucking money I could probably get out of that. 3 years?
What is going on?
Like, I don't know how many months I'm at right now, okay? You know what? Fuck it. I'll just show you where it's at right now, okay? This is just a few months of growing it where it's at right now, okay? Are you ready? I don't want to do this, but, like, you need to see what is going on, all right? See that? All right? There it is. All right? There. I didn't even grift $500. So, yeah. There it is. I don't even know what it looked like. So, yeah. It's crazy. So, the question is, letting my hair grow out for 3 fucking years? I don't know, man. Like, I really want to fund this project in Orlando, so I could build it around that, but I don't know, bro. Like I said, I showed you guys what it looks like whenever I don't, like, whenever... Wait, you're not bald? I told you, like, look at this shit. Like, if I don't... Look at this. Look at my hair. Look how gay this looks. It's everywhere. I hate it. So, 3 fucking years? That's a lot, man. For my type of hair, that's a lot. I don't know. Cut your hair here, hillbilly. In 3 years, you'd be epic Jeremy. It probably looks like a wig because I have the green screen on behind me, but it's certainly not. I can promise you that. So, because I'm not home, so I have a green screen up. So, you can donate your hair. $10,000. Fuck, that's a hell of an idea right there, man. John freaking Murdoch for $50 says, my dad was an avid fisherman. He dragged me to many early fishing, morning fishings. Not much for hunting, but I do like guns. Hail Unit 199, Mod Lives Matter, Chat Lives Matter, Jeremy Mage Prime of the 199. Thank you, John. And then John says, wait, you're not bald? Jeremy looks like Tom Brady. Or Tom Hardy, I'm sorry. Tom Hardy. The problem is Tom Hardy is stocky, and I am tall and lanky. So I probably, people when they meet me in person, they think that I'm shorter than I am. I'm actually tall and lanky. So, but yeah. So, thank you, John freaking Murdoch. Doug B says, in 3 years, you'd be epic Jeremy. Legalize adulthood for 10 says, Ben Shapiro says he's seen better wigs on his fake. What? Now Ben Shapiro's caught up in it. I told you. Thank you, Legalize Adulthood. Hey, Dwayne for 50 says 5 years of not cutting my hair and it's 2 foot long. You can get a pretty sick head of hair in 3 years. It's worth it. Low ponytail is your friend on hot days. Man, I don't know, man. I don't know if I could pull this shit off, dude. I really don't know if I could go 3 fucking years. It would be 3 years? Kind of look like the Joker taking off the nurse wig. Hey, that's not a bad. That's actually pretty funny. Fantastic Mr. Knox says, Ryan eating floor pizza. You can't be picky. Agent 199 says, don't be a Reuben. Hail Mossad. Thank you. Dan Bass says, I don't allow Jeremy to have long hair. It's going to be... God, I was looking forward to cutting this shit too, man. Fuck. I don't know, man. I don't know. T-Mac Gaming says, and Dave Rubin buys children. Yes, he does. And he's gay. Let's see. East Coast Toasted Boy says, fishing is just hunting with a trap. Yeah, but being out on the water, dude, I just love being out on the water. Alan Tanasi says the real reason he the mustache man committed self-deletion is because he saw the gas bill. Packy Proton says Paramount's new show, Vulcan Babies, coming soon. Unseen Dimension says send this man money now, braver than Tim Pool. Ladybug says keep the hat on, please. Southeastern Kaiju says Jeremy would like Robin Williams in Jumanji. I love Jumanji. Probably look like is what you meant. Olympian Products says Tim Pool definitely jealous of that hair. Chris says Jeremy looks like Tom Hardy. Lord Botha says keep in mind in 3 years in Florida you'll have to make a choice, ponytail or man bun. Both are not great. This is true.
Hmm?